It's the football season. It's the stretch run. Let's get a little weather going.
So it's 44 degrees. We are officially saying that the temperature is dropping every second. It's getting colder here, and Marty Schottenheimer back in Denver, Colorado. He does not have a good record playing here. 2-10 in his coaching career playing in Denver. It's not good. 18-19, rather 8-19 overall playing the Broncos through his coaching career. And then you've got Mike Shanahan in his 9th year as an NFL head coach. Tremendous record, but he is the coach of these 5-4 Denver Broncos. And this is a big game for each side. The Broncos have won the toss. They receive, and Chris Cole is waiting deep with a kick from Brett Conway. Glad you're with us on Fox. Cole from about 3 yards deep in his own end zone. Gets to the 11, and he is brought down immediately by Darius Thompson. And Brian Griese leads this Denver offense to the field. A big week last week and a win here against San Diego. And Griese is protected by this group, including Steve Herndon, who makes the start in place of the injured Lenny Friedman. The backs and receivers, Rod Smith and Keith Poole. We'll see a lot of those wide receivers that Brian Baldinger told you about in our open. Mike Anderson gets the start at tailback with Tony Carter. Pretty good receiver out of the backfield, the fullback for Denver. From their own 11. Little play action to start the day. Griese can find no one, decides to run, and he got about a yard, maybe a yard and a half. We would like to welcome those of you joining us from the Green Bay Atlanta game, with Atlanta winning 23-20. So the Atlanta Falcons getting a big win on the road. They go over the 500 mark as they win at Lambeau Field, and now it's second down for Denver. Second down and 10. A throw and a drop in and out of the arms of Rod Smith with Champ Bailey on him here early. And we look at the defense for the Washington Redskins. Marty Schottenheimer will tell you he'd like to get a little quicker defensively, but this is his group up front with Dan Wilkinson playing the best football of his career. The linebackers, Robert Jones, Kevin Mitchell in the middle, and LeVar Arrington, high ankle sprain and all, starting at the outside linebacker position. And the secondary, Fred Smoot is the starting right cornerback, taking the place of Darrell Green. On third down, it's Anderson fighting for extra yards, but brought down well short of a first down by Sam Shade. And it's time for Denver to punt an early 3-and-out.
A great series for Washington. Denver decided to come out and spread the field and throw the football in this bad weather. You got great coverage from the Redskins down the field, forced Griese to take a knee on the first play, incompletion on the second. This is exactly the way Washington wanted to start.
Tom Ruin, who is #1 in the NFL with his average, has it partially blocked as he dropped the snap. The Redskins will stay away, and the ball will be downed at the Denver 39. So a good start for the Redskins, as getting a hand on it was Brian Johnson. And the Redskins take over with great field position.
Well, you see the slick weather out here right now. The rain is falling. And Tom Ruin, a lousy snap from David Diaz-Infante. And right on top of it, you see Ruin here trying to catch a knuckleball. Brian Johnson with a great effort to get a little finger on.
Starting from inside the Denver 40 as this crowd gets into it, showing blitz. The Broncos are coming now. A fumble, and Denver falls on top of it.
Well, the weather is a factor here, Joe, right away in the opening 2 series of this game.
John Mobley comes away with a fumble recovery.
Everybody, Al Wilson at the line of scrimmage. I think Tony Banks kind of took his eyes off of Stephen Davis. Wasn't a good exchange. I don't know if it was the ball being wet. Stephen Davis looked like he was taking a wider angle to the ball to avoid Al Wilson.
So another fumble for Stephen Davis. Handling the ball has always been a problem for Tony Banks in the NFL, and they give him the fumble as Anderson tries the left side, and he gets it to the Denver 45. Let's jump right back to Los Angeles. A game break and back to James Brown.
Hey, Joe, trailing 22-14, San Francisco was with a $150 left. They drive 66 yards. Garcia to Owens with 1 second remaining. Trailing by 2. Now it's Garcia to Eric Johnson. And San Francisco knocks it up, goes into their 4th overtime of the season. Let's take it back to Joe Buck and Ryan Baldinger.
Players should make more money playing all the overtime games there.
Yeah, that's what this
5
world
quarters.
needs. A toss to Anderson running right, and he is smoked. Brought down right back at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Mitchell, the middle linebacker for Washington.
San Francisco out there in the NFC West fighting along with Atlanta, who won, and New Orleans, who won, all looking up and chasing the St. Louis Rams, who play later tonight.
12.5 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 7 for Denver. Greasy over the middle, dropped. In and out of the arms of Dwayne Carswell, and Sam Shade, the strong safety, was on his back. Time for Denver to punt again.
Greasy looks a little frustrated here, and he's been frustrated. In fact, Rod Smith said that he's trying to make sure that he doesn't get 2 down. But throwing the ball in the range, Sam Shade all over him. Carswell probably should catch it, but it still would have been short of a 1st down.
Tom Ruin, his 2nd punt of the day. Eric Metcalf waiting deep. Didn't get a chance to return the first one. Better snap. Kick is away clean, and Metcalf gets it on the short hop. And he is met at the 10 and dropped. Chris Cole was there, and there's a penalty flag on the play. It's going to be called against the Denver Broncos, and I would imagine the Redskins will make the Broncos re-kick.
Mike Carey, the referee today.
Illegal formation. Offense number 62. Not on the line of scrimmage. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Remains 4th down.
So Ruin will have another chance to punt, and David Diaz-Infante will have to give it another long snap, and we have already seen that the ball is awfully slick down there.
Well, it's slick and the game is sloppy, which means you've got to concentrate harder. You've got to make sure that you can get a dry ball. David Diaz-Infante, the snapper here, has got to make sure that he's snapping a dry ball, so you've got to take a little extra precaution in all phases of this game today.
It'll be a 4th down and 12. And you can see the umpire keeping a towel over the football. They have yet to mark off the yardage. Now they do, and it brings the football back inside the 40-yard line. That's Garth DeFelice, the umpire for today's game. And here comes another Tom Ruin punt.
Back to Redskins, Eric Metcalf.
Good snap again, ugly punt. On 2 bounces, Metcalf. Good work by Eric Metcalf as he brings it to the Washington 22. Kenoy Kennedy was there for the stop for Denver, and now there's a player down on the field. It's George Coghill, a backup free safety for the Broncos. So they check on the well-being of George Coghill. And we'll do the lineups and introduce you to the Washington Redskins. Up front, terrific tackles with John Jansen, Chris Samuels, better on the inside part of the offensive line, and it's Corey Raymer, the center for the Redskins. The backs and receivers, Rod Gardner's doing everything as a rookie that the Redskins had hoped Michael Westbrook would do when they drafted him out of Colorado. And it's Donnell Bennett doing the blocking for Stephen Davis, and they're still checking on Coghill.
George Coghill coming in on the hit to Eric Metcalf. They took a knee right to the head by Eric Metcalf.
Looked like Mobley.
Yeah, maybe John Mobley.
like Mobley got a left knee up against the head.
Yeah, both kind of spearing in at each other.
So Coghill is dinged and down, and Metcalf did good work just to get the ball back past the 20.
There's Mobley in midair. He can't really control himself at that point. So he takes the thigh right from Mobley right into George Coghill's head.
So Mobley, part of this good linebacking unit for the Denver Broncos, and a guy, Brian Baldinger, that they're trying to mix in more is Ian Gold. We talked to Bill Romanowski a couple of days ago, and we said, understand that Ian Gold is being worked in more to the lineup. He said they give him 4 plays in the first half and 4 plays in the second half. That's it.
He's giving those plays to him grudgingly. I mean, he does not want to give up any time to Ian Gold, especially Bill Romanowski in his 14th year, who has never missed a game in the NFL. That's the badge of courage, a badge of honor that he wears.
So they are still looking at Coghill, and they are now sending the players off the field as they are being extra careful with Coghill. And we showed you the knee to the head that he took, and obviously that involves the neck as well. And they are going to now get Coghill into a sitting position, and hopefully he'll pop up and be able to at least be helped off the field, but somewhat walk off.
Well, he was moving earlier, which was encouraging, but they've actually instituted a new rule in the NFL during these injuries to clear the field so that the medical staff can give all the attention to the player without any interference. What you worry about as players right now is, while this occurs, you start the game with high RPMs and you're excited and you're emotional. You don't want to let any of that slip away. Especially as sloppy as this game has started, with kind of carelessness surrounding the football.
So Coghill is to his feet. That draws a nice reaction from this crowd. And Coghill at least able to somewhat walk off the field with help, and he is groggy as he heads toward the sideline.
Well, he's one of those guys that the Broncos have developed out of Wake Forest. He went to NFL Europe. He came up through the practice squad, you know, and has earned a keep on this football team. The Broncos have developed a number of players using NFL Europe and using that practice squad to their advantage.
Yeah, it's almost like a baseball minor league system for the Denver Broncos, more so than really any other team in the National Football League.
Well, they've got a number of starters over there. Matt Lepsis, the right tackle, is a benefactor of that NFL Europe league.
Starting from their own 22, first down, second possession for the Redskins, and they hand off to Stephen Davis. He fights his way across the 25, brought down at the 26 by Kenoy Kennedy and Eric Brown. Defensively for the Denver Broncos up front, Pittman, Price, McLaughlin, and Keith Washington. Expect to see a lot of Leon Lett today. The linebackers, Al Wilson in the middle, Bill Romanowski, who doesn't miss a game, never has missed a game, at the outside linebacker position. Those are the defensive backs, Eric Brown and Kenoy Kennedy, the safeties, with O'Neal and Denard Walker, the cornerbacks. Second down and 6. Banks throws complete. Westbrook brought down at the 39-yard line. A first down for the Redskins. Romanowski there to make the stop.
And the Broncos are mostly a zone football team, and it kind of plays into the favor of what the Redskins do. You're going to see Michael Westbrook here. He's just going to come into this open area. Broncos are giving him a little bit of room. He gets a nice stop. He knows where the first down marker is. Nice little play getting Tony Banks his first completion of the day.
Westbrook came off the field injured on that last play, looking at his right arm, and now first down and movement on the line as Ben Coleman jumped too quickly.
False start, offense, number 62. 5 yards to remain, first down.
Joe mentioned Tony Banks getting his first completion here today in the play before. He's just getting more and more comfortable in this offense, and we spoke to him yesterday. He just seems relaxed, and a lot of the bad plays that Tony Banks has been known for, laying the ball on the ground, being a little careless with the football. Some of that is beginning to disappear, and some of that is just maturity, learning how to play the game and becoming more confident with yourself.
He's still got a lot to prove in the NFL to a lot of different coaching staffs across the league that have had him on their team as they hand to Davis running left. picks his way across the 35, brought down at the 36. And a penalty flag comes in flying late after John Mobley made the stop for Denver.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on number 91. A late hit after the ball was dead. 15 yards, automatic. First down.
They get McLaughlin for the personal foul.
Chester trying to get just a little too rough in there. Brought in this year to try and bolster the middle of that defensive line. He's thinking this is just football. What did I do? You see number 91 here comes in and gives a good shove in the back to Corey Raymer, the center. And it's just unnecessary. I mean, that's why they call it unnecessary roughness. The play's dead. Stephen Davis is on the ground. He hurts the football team.
From the Denver side of the 50, the ball marked at the 49, first down for Washington. Banks to throw. Airs it out, down the field, and incomplete. Intended receiver Rod Gardner, and he was bracketed by Denard Walker and Eric Brown.
Well, Rod Gardner is their deep threat, and they did not stretch the field 2 weeks ago in their win against Seattle. Hardly threw the ball deep at all. But in this play, Denver really walked up the strong safety. Banks read it, thought he could get one-on-one coverage. You're going to see the safety, Kenoy Kennedy, coming up into the play. So Denver playing 8 up front, only 3 back. Tony Banks does throw a pretty deep pass, just overthrows Gardner on that one.
Second down and 10. Play action, little rollout. Banks throws, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver Kevin Lockett, and Kenoy Kennedy came up, made the hit, and both he and Lockett are down after that play. 3rd and 10 for Washington.
Kevin Lockett was in the game because we saw Michael Westbrook go out earlier in the series.
So another injury timeout as they look at Kevin Lockett. Last week was a weekend of really gimmick defenses for the Denver Broncos, and the Redskins had no idea really what to expect from Denver today.
Well, they're still running those gimmick defenses, Joe, because they just walked the linebackers up into the line of scrimmage. The Redskins had the perfect play on. They came in right behind those blitzing linebackers. But Kevin Lockett's head got spun around at the very end of that play.
Kennedy, the one that made the hit. And after we had a delay with the training staff looking at Coghill on the other side, it's Lockett. They're looking at the head and neck area of Kevin Lockett after this play.
Watch the linebackers walk up into the line of scrimmage here, giving that area of the field, you know, a target for Tony Banks. Comes Al Wilson, the middle linebacker, blitzing. And Lockett coming right into the open area. Wasn't a good throw by Banks. He threw it behind him. If he'd thrown it in front, would have been a pretty easy completion.
Good sign as Lockett is able to get up and walk off the field. We'll walk it back to Los Angeles, where James Brown is waiting with a game break.
Joe Buck, Garrison Hurst, 31-yard run, puts San Francisco in field goal range, and Jose Cortez bangs home a 26-yard field goal. San Francisco this season is now 3-1 in overtime. Back to Joe Buck with Brian Baldwin.
Yeah, and what a year for both those teams. 49ers with 4 overtime wins. Carolina now losing their 3rd game this year on the final play.
At 9 in a row. Lockett on the sideline. Kajana Carter now in the backfield for Washington on 3rd and 10. Banks had trouble with a snap. Rolling to buy time. Throws. It's tipped. And it's incomplete. Incomplete, but a 4th down coming up for Washington.
On that 3rd and 10, Washington, fearing a good pass rush, got Tony Banks out of the pocket. But when you get out of the pocket, you kind of cut the field in half. Again, just trying to get a handle on that ball. Good protection this time. Al Wilson, though, mirroring Tony Banks in coverage. Got a hand on it, and Jimmy Spencer almost with an interception.
Delta O'Neal waiting for the punt from Barker. Knuckling kick. Takes a hop and goes into the end zone. We'd like to welcome those of you watching San Francisco come back, tie it, then win it in overtime. The audience joining us from the Carolina-San Francisco game here. Not exactly the Ice Bowl, but nobody can seem to hold on to the football. And it's been a rather sloppy start to this one, a game that, as we talked about at the top of the day, is considered a must-win for each side. The Broncos coming off a win here at home against San Diego, while the Redskins, after starting 0-5, have won 3 in a row. They play here in Denver today and then at Philly next week. From their own 20, the Broncos start with it. Empty backfield behind Greasy. Quick throw, Rod Smith. He is clubbed by LeVar Arrington as Smith got it to the 30, a little beyond, and that's a first down for Denver.
And Rod Smith is he's just incredible. He's always open. He's in here in the slot working on Champ Bailey. Now going inside, you know you're going to get clocked because here comes LeVar Arrington. But Rod Smith said something interesting. Back when they were winning Super Bowls, he said John Elway would throw it to the first person that got open. And they had Davis and Shannon Sharp and Ed McCaffrey. You had to get open early to get the ball.
First down, another throw from Greasy, and that pass was tipped as the tight end Carswell was wide open, but it never got there. Most catches through 9 games. Rod Smith tying the mark put up by Chris Carter of Minnesota back in 1994, and Rod Smith has an outside shot at the all-time record of 123 catches by that guy, Herman Moore.
He's on good pace, and with the fact that they don't really have anybody right now that can balance it, he's still going to get a lot of footballs with a chance to break that record.
Champ Bailey again lined up across from him. Mike Anderson tries the left side, and the running game has been shut down here early for the Denver Broncos. Minimal gains as Anderson got a couple, that's it.
And I think the concern for the Redskins, Marty Schottenheimer, was how they could stop and control the run today. Because they've been rushing the passer well. They've been covering the footballs down the field well. But they wanted to see if they could come in here and snuff out a pretty good running attack. Put the ball in Brian Greasy's hands to see if he can win the game.
Five defensive backs in the lineup for Washington on 3rd and 8. Greasy pressure. Throws on the run behind Anderson in time for Denver to punt. A frustrating start for Greasy and the Broncos.
Yeah, pressure that time from Big Daddy Wilkerson. Forced Brian Greasy out of the pocket, is playing well.
Back for Washington.
So now 4th and 8 and another punt for Tom Ruin.
Yeah, and so far the Redskins, who, you know, after a bye week, you want to see if you can come out and play with a good rhythm and play with that same inspiration as they did at home. And defensively, they're doing it to start the game.
Good snap. High hanging punt, and Metcalf calls for a fair catch. Gathers it at the Washington 35. We'll take a break, come back. Tony Banks and the Redskins go back to work. No score in Denver. This is a beautiful football day in Denver. Finally, it's starting to get cold. This global warming thing has just messed up everything.
It screwed me up. I didn't know what to wear here. I had to go out and buy it. Well, I didn't buy anything. I just got my free Fox t-shirts and wore them this week.
Well, you look fantastic. It's first down for Washington from the Redskin 36. Stephen Davis got back to the line of scrimmage, maybe got a yard as Eric Brown, the free safety, came up and made the tackle.
Yeah, I'm watching the Redskins' best offensive lineman down there, Chris Samuels, and he's really hobbled by a right ankle sprain. I don't know if it's ever going to get healthy. Here he is on the backside trying to cut off. He's hunting up John Mobley here, trying to push him beyond the hole. And he does a good job of just forcing it, but he was really hobbled before the game. I'm going to keep an eye on him as the game goes on, see how sore and stiff that gets.
Second down and 9 for the Redskins. Stephen Davis left side, trying to get the corner. Broke one tackle. Got up near the 45-yard line, brought down at the 44 by McLaughlin.
Redskins like to run left, right behind Chris Samuels. Here he is on the outside, working with the tight end. Zeron Flemister right here. Nice job of rolling up Kavika Pittman. And this is the Redskins' game plan. It's not fancy. I mean, this reminds me of the old days with the Hogs. You know, with Joe Jacoby and Russ Grimm, you know, and those guys up front, that's what they've been doing to teams, rolling them up.
3rd down and 2 after a gain of 7 by Davis. Out of the backfield, Stephen Davis, a man to beat, now another, and he falls forward right down at the 1st down marker. It depends on the spot.
And I think what you just said was important, going forward, falling forward. Stephen Davis, when you watch him on tape, is always going forward. Very few negative runs out of Stephen Davis.
Got a 1st down for Washington.
Marty Schottenheimer said yesterday to us about Stephen Davis that he's as good as he's ever coached, as good as Marcus Allen or Ernest Miner, anybody who's ever had. He also was surprised at what kind of a receiver he is.
First down for the Skins as the Broncos bring people up from the secondary. Banks, what an effort by Tony Banks just to get rid of it. Incomplete pass, 2nd down, and Banks got out of a couple of would-be sacks and then threw the incomplete pass.
Tony Banks showing some athleticism. You know, and he's been doing that now a little bit more. As he gets more comfortable in this offense, he's been using those skills. Against Seattle, he scrambled for a couple of 1st downs. That time, he avoided a sure sack.
5:25 left in the 1st quarter. No score. 2nd down and 10. Toss to Davis running left. Brought down on a good play from the backside by Bertrand Berry. A gain of a couple. 3rd down coming up for Washington.
The Redskins love this play. It's called a 19 links. You're going to see a crack block on Bertrand Berry, and Chris Samuels is going to get out here. They run it to the left and they run it to the right. That time, Denver got good communication. Bertrand Berry here, who was cracked on, he got the signal from the outside linebacker that they were coming down on. And communication, like in basketball, is very important to those linemen to hear that somebody's coming down.
Now it's 3rd down and 7. And timeout called by the Redskins. The ball at the Washington 49, 3rd and 7 when we come back. Last week here against San Diego, the Denver Broncos in passing situations were dropping 9 defenders back into the secondary and rushing only 2. It's 3rd down and 7, and we'll see how the Broncos play it against Tony Banks.
They got 7 up in the line of scrimmage, but some will drop out of there.
Only 3 come on the rush, and that pass incomplete. Rod Gardner could not make the grab. Denard Walker defending for Denver.
Joe, exactly right. They dropped 4 out of here. Watch here now. They're going to drop into these lanes. Rod Gardner's going to get sandwiched here. He runs enough for the 1st down. Just going to come on an in route here. But that's what Denver's doing. They're playing a zone with 7. Keeping everything in front of them. Rod Gardner just has to go get that football.
Didn't look too comfortable as he headed toward the middle of the field. Barker gets it away, and Delta O'Neal knocks it out of bounds. Could not make the clean catch, and Denver will start with it at their own 14-yard line. Back and forth, back and forth. No points on the board yet in Denver.
In your wallet.
In the shelter of our little booth, we can't tell if it's rain or snow. It's nasty out there on the playing field, and it's been an ugly start for the offense for Denver as Mike Anderson tries the left side, brought down right back at the line of scrimmage by Kevin Mitchell. In the running game for Denver, you can see Anderson shaking his head. It has done nothing.
Well, you know, they don't have the same offensive line that they had just a year ago. At left guard right now, Steve Herndon is playing over there in place of Lenny Friedman. There's been an injury there. They don't have the same. Trey Teague is now starting at left tackle. And they're still getting used to one another up front. This was a powerful running team last year. Not the same so far to start the season.
Well, you mentioned Steve Herndon, and he jumped early as penalty flags fly before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5 yards, 2nd down.
You know, this is not a big, physically imposing offensive line. It never really has been, but it's been a good athletic group that works well together.
and they try to get every advantage they can. They are the best cut-blocking offensive line in football. It's taught not just by the offensive line, but by the backs and the receivers as well.
Second down and 15 for Denver. Quick throw on a slant, and the throw is behind the intended receiver. Champ Bailey defending, and it's Rod Smith who could not adjust to that poor throw from Greasy.
And the Redskins put Champ Bailey on the other team's best receiver. Today, Rod Smith. This is the challenge that he gets. Ball's thrown behind him, and Brian Greasy is not on to start this game.
Third season for Champ Bailey. Already been to a Pro Bowl. And if he tires, the Redskins will switch Fred Smoot to Rod Smith later. Third down and 15 now. Big rush. Greasy steps up and underthrows Chris Cole. And the crowd here in Denver is starting to grow a little restless with this start by Greasy and company.
Yeah, and Greasy had to step up because Bruce Smith was turning the corner on Trey Teague, and he was a-coming right here. I mean, Greasy has a good radar. He feels them. But Bruce is adept at knocking that ball out of the quarterback's hands as he gets stepped up. Greasy just does it. But not a good pass.
It's been a first quarter with a lot of Tom Ruin highlights. Line drive punt. Chance for a return from Metcalf. Crosses midfield. Makes a move and is forced out of bounds at the 42. Detron Smith made the stop for the Denver Broncos. Good field position yet again for Washington. They'll start at the Denver 42. Gary Kubiak, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach for the Denver Broncos, pointing fingers, yelling, getting after that Denver offense. Meanwhile, Washington has squandered great field position here early, averaging a start at their own 40. They start at the Denver 42, and Stephen Davis gets it down to the 38. Al Wilson made the stop after a gain of 4.
That time the Broncos just played it straight.
Slippery when wet. 5 drop passes, 2 muff punts, and 1 fumble.
That should be the name of an album.
It
Slippery
should.
when wet.
By
Sounds good.
Jersey band.
Yeah, maybe a guy named Bon Jovi or something.
Second down and 6. Broncos bring the blitz. Davis brought down in the backfield. Al Wilson first to get there, and Eric Brown, the free safety, came up and made the stop.
I've been watching this now, you know, and watch Al Wilson. He's going to come up here, and the Redskins here is the offensive line. They don't know if he's bluffing or not. There, the fullback, Donnell Bennett, really doesn't have a chance to adjust his course to take on Al Wilson. That's twice now that he's disrupted the offensive play in the first quarter.
When Tony Banks was with Baltimore last year, the Broncos rushed Banks up the middle, blitzing right through the center guard spots, and now it's third down and 9 after a loss of 3 on that previous play. That's Kajana Carter. A cutback, a first down, brought down at the 25, but a penalty flag on the field.
Kajana has given this team a real lift.
This is coming back. It's a hold against Washington.
Leon Lett just went over and tapped Mike Carey on the top of the head and said, way to go, big guy. Way to get the hold on me.
Holding offense number 60. 10 yards to remain, third down.
And Chris Samuel kind of nodding that, yeah, I did it. Leon Lett, of course, picked up in the offseason, has been playing both tackle and end for the Broncos, trying to give him a little bit more bulk on that defensive line. There it is right there. There's the hold.
The hold moves the football all the way back to midfield. Third down and 19. Banks, his arm hit as he throws it. Jump ball incomplete. Deltha O'Neal was there defending, and he had plenty of friends with him.
Looked like Trevor Price got a hand on Tony Banks' arm, which shouldn't happen. They only rushed 3 players this time. Trevor Price, their best defensive lineman, did get a shot on the arm, and that knocked the ball straight up. Nice job by Kevin Lockett here of playing defensive back, not allowing Deltha O'Neal to get an 8th interception.
Deltha O'Neal waits for this punt from Barker. O'Neal leading the AFC punt return yardage. A fair catch made at the 19-yard line. So this has been a typical start for the Broncos in this game, starting right around their own 20. They'll have it when we come back. Coverage begins Thanksgiving Day, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific on Fox. 1st and 10 from their own 19. This is Olandis Gary, his first carry of the day. Trying to get a little more speed in the backfield of the Broncos. Fred Smoot came up to make the stop, and a gain of 3.
Well, it's the first time they tried to get the ball outside, and Michael Anderson not in the game. Olandis Gary, who's been deactivated when Terrell Davis is activated. It's a tough call for Mike Shanahan on those Sundays to sit him down and not activate him, a guy that went for well over 1,000 yards 2 years ago.
Denver 14 yards on the ground, 11 through the air here in the first quarter as it winds down under a minute to go, and that's Gary who squirts out to the 26, and a penalty flag comes in at the end of the play. And you can hear the official talking to Desmond Clark saying, "I got him," leading to believe this is against Washington.
Late hit on number 56 for the defense. 15 yards, automatic. First down.
LeVar Arrington, who was laying in wait for Brian Griese, waiting for a big hit on the Denver quarterback.
And that's what he lives for, those big hits. I mean, he's the one that turned the whole thing around for the Redskins a month ago against Carolina. This is LeVar doing the same thing that the Broncos did. I think it was Chester McLaughlin a couple of series ago, just pushing a guy late from behind.
So Arrington provides the Broncos with their biggest offensive gain of the first quarter. A 15-yard penalty, a first down for Denver at their own 40. Olandis Gary trying to bounce it outside. Good pickup on first down as he got 8. Kennard Lang made the stop, and that's the end of the first quarter. It has been sloppy. Sloppy, no score. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a message and a word from your local Fox station. Denver Broncos, 36 total yards. They've been penalized 25 yards. And we are awaiting the start of the second quarter. First quarter ugly for each offense. Second down and 4, and that's Gary, and he is crushed. Olandis Gary, meet LeVar Arrington.
He hit so hard that he knocks himself out. He had a concussion a few weeks ago. He lives for the big hit. Here he is. You're going to read this play right. He's coming downhill. The left tackle, Trey Teague, doesn't get back on him, concentrating so much on Bruce Smith. That's the way you shut down an inside running game. Hits like that.
So now it's 3rd and 4. Griese throws, and the pass is complete. It's a first down for Denver as Clark made the catch, and David Terrell eventually made the stop. And a rare first down for the Broncos.
And with all the injuries to the wide receivers that we talked about at the open today, the tight ends have really stepped up. Desmond Clark is one of those young players out of Wake Forest. A couple of touchdown passes now. Moves the chains here for first down. The Broncos are more comfortable now playing tight ends than they are wide receivers.
Mike Anderson now back in the lineup for the Broncos on 1st and 10. Griese over the middle, overthrows Carswell, and it's incomplete.
Griese's frustrated because he doesn't want to throw down the seams to tight ends. He wants to throw out there to the wide receivers that he's seen in this offense in the past. Ed McCaffrey and Rod Smith, and a lot of those guys aren't there right now. Phil McGagan here, first time he's ever been dressed for an NFL game. He was on the practice squad. Cut by the Raiders and the Jets in the preseason.
Second down and 10 as Bruce Smith checks out. Dorian Boose comes in the lineup at right end for Washington.
It's Rod Smith at the bottom of the picture.
Griese was looking his way, now steps up and will run. Griese with a first down. Brian Griese inside the 25. Champ Bailey the tackle. And the biggest play offensively for the Broncos in the first half.
Griese a chance to make a play. He hasn't been able to do it with his arm. The Redskins get all knotted up over here. 5 guys get knotted and Griese sees an opening. And now look at Michael Anderson down here, picking up a block. Broncos, good heads-up football down the field when the quarterback takes off with the football.
24-yard run by Brian Griese. Now look at his average up a bit. Now first down and 10, and Anderson over the right side. Bruce Smith closed down to make the stop.
Courier over the right side.
Well, it's clear that the Broncos would like to loosen up this Redskin defense a little bit with the passing game, but because of the weather and the injuries to receivers, right now they're trying to find something in the running game. The Redskins have been up to the task, and finally, the Broncos in scoring territory. Last week, when they got to the 20-yard line, 4 times they couldn't get a touchdown. They had to settle for field goals.
Again, Smith out, Boose in, second down and 7. Play action from the Broncos. Hit is made, the ball is dropped, and it's recovered by Washington. They're ruling it a catch and a fumble. Now the officials get together. Arrington made the hit. It was Tony Carter with the reception, and we'll see if it is a turnover or an incomplete pass.
Well, if it's a catch, it's going to be reviewed, I'm sure, by Mike Shanahan. Arrington delivering a number of big hits here today, right on the belly of Tony Carter. I don't think he had possession. Boy, he put that hat right on the ball, knocked it out.
Didn't look like Carter had it controlled, but we'll wait and see what the ruling is on the field, and then whatever the ruling is, you can bet there'll be a review.
Yeah. Well, possession means, Joe, that the ball isn't turning in the hands, that the ball is frozen. That's possession. The ball looked like it was there, and then did he take a step with it? Because if he took a step with it while he had possession, that would be a catch.
We'll give it to you regular speed to give you the look the official had, the one who made the call. This, it appears, at least initially, was ruled a catch and a fumble.
Right, and if you blinked, you missed it. So, I mean, it's a tough call any way you look at it.
On the field is that there was a catch and a fumble. However, there was not a recovery by the defense because he did not have 2 feet inbounds when he picked up the ball. The ball went backwards out of bounds. Third down, Denver.
Well, let's take a look at the end of the play. I thought Bailey had his feet in.
Champ Bailey right here. This play could be reviewed. Well, is this foot off the ground here?
Right there.
Yeah, I think both feet are down. So Marty Schottenheimer right now should take a look at this review and review this. Oh, yeah, I think he got it down. And so that's what Marty's talking to Mike Carey about now.
Yeah, I think he had his feet in.
Yeah. And that's another difficult call at full speed after the ball gets knocked out.
Right there.
Boom. That's possession, and both feet are on the ground. And that's what they should take a look at in the review booth.
And they are. Marty
The
Schottenheimer
ruling on the field is
throws
that
the red
recovering
flag.
player did not have 2 feet down with possession, being challenged by Washington.
Once again, a look at it in regular speed as Washington will challenge that call.
the ball, but I don't know if he marked it Washington's ball or if that's just where it went out of bounds.
Watch the other official come in to the picture, coming over to the head linesman. And immediately those two got together, started the discussion, and it was joined by a couple of other officials while the rest of the crew was trying to keep the players away, and now Mike Carey gives it a look.
That was the side judge, Dave Wyant, that came in to confer. I think Mike's going to see the one look that we've had where we've been able to slow it down and see that Champ Bailey had both his hands on the ball and both feet for just a moment, a split second on the ground. And they can slow it down to just the way we're looking at it here.
Well, you can even see his right foot drag across the grass before it came up into the air.
That has to be indisputable evidence, and that looked to me like that was indisputable.
The average delay on these reviewed plays this season, just over 3 minutes. The average challenge time is just over 1 minute, and we are at a minute right now.
They've had 41 replays this year that have been overturned.
See, once Washington asked for the challenge, Mike Carey now, if he wants to review the entire play, can go back and look at the catch and see if Carter actually had possession of the football prior to the hit, prior to the fumble. So be careful what you ask for.
That's right, because you get the challenge, you may get all of it, which means possibly an incompletion, which would nullify everything else that happened afterwards.
So instead of the ball being marked back near the 30, you end up with an incomplete pass and a third down for the Denver Broncos as they are in field goal range inside Washington territory. But this delay is taking as long as it's taking because Carey is looking at the catch aspect of it, as well as if Champ Bailey got both feet down and had possession of the football before he hopped out of bounds. And stop the clock at 2:09. We'll get the call.
Interesting, both the offense and the defense haven't left the field. Denver's offense and Washington's defense.
After reviewing the plays, the pass was incomplete. The receiver did not have total possession when it came out. It will be third down. Washington will not be charged with a timeout.
So they won't charge Washington with a timeout because the portion that Washington was challenging wasn't valid. It didn't exist because the catch was never made.
And the explanation that Mike Carey is giving to Marty Schottenheimer is, I reviewed the whole play. And after reviewing what looked to be a scooped up fumble by Champ Bailey never existed because this here was never a completion.
So now instead of a 3rd and 13, the ball is back near the 20-yard line, and the officials now will have to get together, figure out where the ball should be placed.
It should have been the previous spot, previous line of scrimmage of the last play,
which should be roughly the 21-yard line. And now they're going to have to go back and talk it over to see where the ball should be on this.
12 on the game clock. 12 on the game clock, please.
So that delay for 5 seconds being added to the game clock. It read 12:07. They put 12:12 on it. These guys are going to need to loosen up again.
We've had a lot of stoppages.
Third down and 7. That's Poole in motion. Blitz coming, and the Redskins jumped across the line too soon. Robert Jones was the first, and he'll be flagged.
Greasy did a good job of holding that count, getting the Redskins to show the blitz that they were coming with.
Both Robert Jones and Kevin Mitchell jumped across the line.
Offside, defense number 56. unabated to the quarterback, 5 yards, still third down.
That'll make it 3rd down and 2, and we'll go back to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Joe, the Bears hadn't scored an offensive touchdown since '98 against the Bucs. Here it is, though. Jim Miller hooks up with Marty Booker, 28-yard strike, and it is now a 1-point lead by Chicago over Tampa Bay in the second. Joe Buck, Brian Baldinger.
First offensive touchdown in Tampa since 1997. Now on 3rd and short, it's Mike Anderson, and he comes up shy of the first down. Marco Coleman first there for Washington, and Jason Elam and the kicking unit will come on the field for the Denver Broncos.
Very good short yardage defense by the Redskins. The offsides by Robert Jones on the play before it took the Broncos out of a passing situation. They ran the ball on 3rd and 2. No movement on that left side of the line.
Back to the line of scrimmage, so 4th and 2, and Elam will attempt the kick. They'll spot it at the 23, a 33-yard try for Jason Elam, who is 16 out of 19, and now they have to get the kicking ball on the field.
What I haven't seen hardly at all anymore this year, Joe, is any blocked field goals. You don't see the way they used to design blocks for it. Redskins got one up here now.
33-yard try. High snap, good hold, good kick. Denver's all-time leading scorer puts the Broncos on the board. Just over 11 minutes left in the first half. 3-0 Denver.
5th Spy Game in theaters Wednesday.
Well, the Broncos are on the board first, leading 3-0. An 11-play drive. Greasy on the drive, rushed for 24 yards, threw for 5. Elam gets rid of it. Good kick. That's Bates, and he'll take a knee. The 5-time Pro Bowler, Michael Bates, downs it in the end zone. The Redskins will have it down 3, starting at their own 20 when we come back. Tuesday, catch Kiefer Sutherland in a new episode of 24. 9 Eastern, 8 Central right here on Fox. And if you missed the second hour of 24, you can catch it tonight and tomorrow on FX. So check your local cable listings. From their own 20, down by 3, Washington. Hands to Stephen Davis. Tries the middle, gets up near the 25. Gain of 4.5. Eric Brown made the stop. Another game break. JB back in Los Angeles.
Joe Buck, Detroit desperately seeking its first win of the season. Fighting back here, 6 plays, 69 yards, capped by Batch to the tight end, David Sloan. 14-7, Detroit. That in the second. Back to the talented Joe Buck and Brian Baldinger.
2nd down and 5. Quick throw and incomplete. Gardner had it thrown behind him. And this has been a very disappointing start for Tony Banks after 3 pretty good weeks.
And that's part of going on the road, though, Joe. You're going on the road in November. A tough place. You've got the elements out here right now. The ball looked like it slipped out of his hands. He had Rod Gardner wide open. But that's part of the mental toughness that you want to see from your quarterback in this type of situation.
I don't know that John Elway wore a glove on his non-throwing hand. But Tony Banks is.
I want to feel that leather in my hands if I'm the quarterback.
3rd down and 5 for the Redskins. And a toss to Kajana Carter. Kajana Carter fights his way for a Washington first down. Well, that's a good story, Kajana Carter.
It was really a good story. Just talking to him yesterday. This was the NFL's #1 pick in the draft in 1995. And all he did was succumb to injuries. I mean, every year. He tore his knee up in the first preseason game that he ever played. And it didn't stop there. In 97, he tore his rotator cuff. And in 98, he broke his wrist. And in 99, he dislocated a knee. And last year, he was out of football. And he told us yesterday, he goes, most people don't know that I'm even playing. They just think I'm retired. I've been buried. I'm gone. And he spent the offseason in Boca Raton just rehabilitating himself, and he feels good to be back.
Jimmy Spencer in the lineup defensively for Denver on first down. Big rush and a sack. Eric Brown with the first sack of the day as Banks is engulfed back near the 20.
Well, the Broncos are gambling up front, trying to get extra pressure. Eric Brown, the free safety, right at the line of scrimmage. Tony Banks, who had a play-action fake that time, said he didn't like play-action fakes because he turns his back to the defense. And that's what he just did. He turned his back to Eric Brown, and the sack resulted.
7-yard loss on the play. Brown gets his second sack of the season. 2nd down and 16.
And they're all up in the line of scrimmage again.
Banks changing the play on the line of scrimmage and needs to use another timeout. Play clock winding down. 2nd timeout taken by Washington. The crowd's getting into it. Banks is struggling here in the first half. Not going to pay a lot for this muffler, but doggone it, I'm going to use it. And the glove.
I want these hands warm.
7 on the active list among quarterbacks dropping the football. Set an all-time single-season record back in '96, dropping the ball 21 times. And Banks is back to throw. 3rd and 16, plenty of time, and Rod Gardner has had a slow start as well.
Rod Gardner is a rookie out of Clemson, and he hasn't played in this kind of elements. And that's no excuse. Al Wilson gets picked up inside. Tony Banks with a good solid wall. And his rookie first-round draft pick is struggling in the elements. Just on a crossing pattern. Just trying to get through the traffic. Did all that work just to drop a nice pass by Tony Banks. And one of the few good spirals we've seen from him.
4th drop pass by the Redskins today. Gardner, a guy who can bench press 400, couldn't hang on to the football, and now it's 3rd and 16. Banks in trouble. Looking to dump it off and brings it across the 35, lost the football. Denver saying they have it, and they do. Another Tony Banks fumble. Jimmy Spencer came up with it.
Careless on Tony's part. I mean, just trying to make a play, but trying to regain his balance, lost control of the football. I mean, that's just really bad at that point. Nobody hit him. You know, what happens is you worry so much about staying on your feet and regaining your balance, you forget that you're carrying the most important thing in the world to you right there.
Just tied Kerry Collins on the active list with his 69th career fumble.
On the field with the fumble was recovered by Denver. First down.
Bad break for the Redskins as this ball evidently stayed in play, and Spencer ended up with possession of it.
Well, you know, it's a slippery day. The ball is wet. You've got small hands. You've got this problem. Outside the pocket, don't try to do too much with it.
The other fumble by the Redskins was attributed to Banks. So 2 fumbles on the day. He's been sacked once.
This is the situation. Shanahan likes to go up top with it.
They hand off. That's Olandis Gary. And he gets to the 36. Where he's brought down by Dan Wilkinson.
Tony Banks now, you know, he has a habit of becoming frustrated and getting down on himself. Marty Schottenheimer told us that he had to constantly kind of pump him up after a bad play. You see Kent Graham talking to him now, and the center Corey Raymer trying to boost his spirits after a bad play.
Gain of 3 on the carry by Gary, and now Greasy loses the football. Carswell falls on top of it, and the ball's all the way back outside the Washington 45. Marco Coleman got a hand on the ball as he went by.
I think the most valuable offensive guys today are going to be the guys that are going to recover fumbles. Marco Coleman gets a good jump on the tight end, Dwayne Carswell. That's a tough block for a tight end. Not used to blocking those defensive ends in passing situations.
Loss of 10 on the play as Greasy couldn't hang on and Carswell able to slide on top. So a 3rd and 18 now. Now 8 drop passes, 2 muff punts, 3 fumbles, and of course 1 partridge in a pear tree.
And it is the Christmas season.
It is. It's a 3rd and 18 for Denver with a ball at the Washington 46. Denver leading 3-0 with 7:22 left in the first half. Greasy's had a miserable day throwing the ball over the middle. Rod Smith short of a first down as LeVar Arrington made the stop. It'll be 4th down with the ball resting at the 33-yard line of the Redskins.
Nice design play for Rod Smith, who's hobbling on that bad right ankle. Working on Darrell Green in the slot. Gets a good bump off of David Terrell. And Arrington's there to finish him, just keeping it in front of the sticks.
Here's an opportunity for the Washington defense now, and that in-between yardage. Ball at the 33. 4th down and 5, and the Broncos will go for it. Yet the Redskins, mixed up defensively, are going to have to use their final timeout.
Well, what happened was Rod Smith wasn't on the field, so they didn't really know where to line up. Darrell Green was covering Rod Smith in the slot, Champ Bailey outside, and they couldn't find him. He was replacing the divot out of his helmet at the time, I think.
So now on 4th and 5, even though we saw Jason Elam pounding the football during pregame drills, he had a 60-yarder kicking in this direction. They're going to go for it on 4th and 5.
See, Darrell Green is looking for Rod Smith. That's who he's looking to cover. And it's kind of funny because Rod Smith's first catch in the NFL was against Darrell Green. And he said that it was such a memorable catch because A, it was for a touchdown. He got Darrell Green's gloves as a souvenir. He's got a blown-up picture of it in his house. He said it's his most memorable play in the league.
1995, time winding down, and Elway aired it out. Rod Smith made the catch.
And I don't think Bronco fans will have too much trouble taking a look at John Elway one more time.
Matt Dominguez in the lineup for Denver on 4th and 5. Blitz coming, and there was movement in the backfield for Denver. This is going to be called on the Broncos. Now, you're likely out of field goal range, and you may have to switch to the punt.
There was no play. False start. Offense, number 22. 5 yards remain. 4th down.
And it's time for the Broncos to punt. Boy, this has been ugly first half.
You know, nobody, I don't think, has played in these kind of conditions at all this year, and it looks like none of these guys have ever played in the way they're fumbling through things, and you can't get on the field, and unnecessary timeouts. It's the time when you've got to concentrate harder.
Concentrate harder. The rain is starting to pound down harder, and we are looking at the possibility of snow before the end of the night.
It goes to snow, then to the sleet, or rain to the sleet to the snow. We'll see it all today.
Ruin. High hanging punt, and Metcalf will drop it. Another muff punt. Denver saying they have it. And they do.
Keith Burns, their best special teams player, comes up with the loose ball. Eric Metcalf brought in here a couple of weeks ago to shore up a very poor punt return team. Hasn't had any opportunities in Washington to field it in rain that looks like it's raining in sheets.
A 25-yard punt, but hanging in the air, you could see the coverage that the Broncos had. And it was Burns who fell on top of it. 3rd turnover for Washington. And the give is to Anderson. Actually, Olandis Gary bouncing it to the outside. He's forced out of bounds at the 11 by Champ Bailey. The Washington Redskins have been winning the turnover battle with their 3-game winning streak. They're 3-0 when they're on the plus side in the turnover margin, 0-5 when it's even or they're on the bad side of it. Today, they've turned it over 3 times. The Broncos have yet to give it away.
And they're lucky to only be down 3-0 with that. I mean, that's the only encouraging thing. Trying to keep Brian Griese and his Bronco offense out of the end zone.
Oh, big hole. Gary Olandis Gary brought down at the 3. Just shy of a Denver first down as David Terrell eventually made the stop.
Right behind Dan Neal and Matt Lepsis on the right side of the Bronco line. Opened up a huge hole for Gary, and good vision for Olandis Gary, and a guy who's been on the shelf, not even dressed the last 2 weeks.
3rd down and 1.
It's now, does it look like snow now? Looks like it just officially changed.
Definitely swirling around. Quick snap, Gary. A first down for Denver. They're going to mark him down right at the 2, and that's enough for a Denver first down. Now Keith Poole comes out limping. Brian Griese in the red zone this season. 14 touchdowns, no interceptions in the 14 touchdowns. Leads the National Football League.
Amazing statistic. But the Broncos right now have Rod Smith all the way out wide by himself. Here's Rod Smith, and then it's just power behind Tony Carter.
That's Gary, and he is short of the end zone. They mark him down just inside the 1, where it'll be 2nd and goal as Kennard Lang and Fred Smoot made the stop.
That Tony Carter at fullback is a good blocking fullback, good lead back for whatever back is in there this year. Filling in for Howard Griffin, who's on injury reserve, hurt his neck earlier in the preseason, and Carter's coming in and filling in nice. Got a good lead block that time, and you can bank here that the Broncos will keep it on the ground.
Olandis Gary has taken over for the Broncos. Mike Anderson has been on the sideline. That's Gary fighting, and he's short of a touchdown again. Got back to the line of scrimmage, and from just inside the 1, it'll be 3rd and goal.
Interesting call coming up here for Shanahan, because Brian Griese on 3rd and 1s this year is 7 for 7. He said a lot of them he calls if the defense doesn't look like they're playing. Nice job by the Redskin defensive line, stuffing it.
If you want to read lips, it looked like Shanahan said whatever play they make here, they're going to go for it on 4th down.
So they're in 2-down territory. 2 downs for a touchdown.
Mike Anderson back in the lineup for Denver, looking for the first touchdown of the day. Play action, back of the end zone. Touchdown, Rod Smith. What a throw by Brian Griese.
Great play action, and Rod Smith with a banged up right ankle always finds a way to get open. In motion here. You're going to take it inside and then bounce it outside. Working on Champ Bailey. And that's just horrendous defense by the Redskins. You've got to bang Rod Smith at the line of scrimmage to not let him get into the end zone.
Jason Elam has now made 333 consecutive extra points, and Rod Smith has his 9th touchdown of the year. Griese has his 15th touchdown pass from inside the red zone. 10-0 Denver.
One receiver out there, and they executed it perfectly.
Great throw by Griese, who's had a frustrating first half, and we'll go back to the touchdown.
Now Rod Smith's going to come here in motion. He's going to settle here and kind of let the defense take its charge, and then he's going to take it in and then out. At this point, though, nobody touched him. Nobody got their hands on Rod Smith.
3:19 left in the first half. Elam kicking with Bates and Carter deep. That's Bates from just outside the 5. Michael Bates to the 30. No flags on the play, and that's where the Redskins will start with it after Eric Davis made the stop for Denver.
Well, a couple of things we wanted to find out about the Redskins today. Could they take the inspired play they had at home with their 3-game win streak to the road? And the defense has played pretty well. Tony Banks, however, has left his game back in Washington, D.C. right now. And I think everybody on this team is looking at Tony Banks to see what he's going to do. Naturally, it's also, we'll see if he still leaves the glove on. Just trying to, I guess, protect that hand as much as he can in this kind of weather.
Ki-Jana Carter in the backfield behind Tony Banks. Leon Lett in the defensive lineup as Banks has plenty of time, dumps it off. Carter to the 35. Gain of 5, and the clock continues to run.
I think Ki-Jana Carter is in there now because he's a better receiver out of the backfield. A little better quickness than Stephen Davis. And this is not the way the Redskins want to play football. They want to pound Stephen Davis behind the line, but when you're down 10-0, you have to shift gears.
Second down and 5.
It's a big play threat here. Rod Gardner, who's had a tough afternoon.
5 defensive backs in the lineup for Denver. They keep it on the ground with Ki-Jana Carter. He's got a first down out at the 45-yard line. And that will likely take this game to the 2-minute warning. Remember, Washington driving down the field. They've already used all 3 of their timeouts.
That hurt him here. But they have time. You have time here to work this end of the field. After the 2-minute warning, they'll have 2 minutes.
See if the Redskins can get off a play prior to the 2-minute warning. They cannot. So we'll take a break. Come back. 2 minutes left first half, and the Redskins have it at their own 45.
Fox NFL Sunday. Brought to you by UPS, the official delivery company of football fans everywhere.
This is Santa's Workshop 2001. Billions of wish lists come in from around the world, and UPS helps us navigate supply chain management issues. Oh, coal comes in for the Balkans for the naughty. Boy band figurines come in from Japan for the nice. Think about the logistics on that one. We have been a successful brand for centuries now, and for a number of years, UPS has been an invaluable partner. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus, and he's working with UPS.
It's the new Ultimate Lovers Pizzas from Pizza Hut. Now with 6 kinds of luscious cheese and 6 kinds of seriously satisfying meat toppings. Or 5 garden veggies. Or 2 layers of zesty pepperoni. Just $8.99. The new Ultimate Lovers Pizzas, only from Pizza Hut.
The Citizen Echo Drive. It never needs a battery because light recharges it. So, what will you do with your battery now that your watch doesn't need one?
Ever wonder how the race car driver gets to the race car? Seville STS. Available with interest-free financing through November 18th. Seville STS.
Folks, coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris will have scores and highlights from around the league, plus our Fox Sports ticker will have up to the second stats. All coming up on the Visa Halftime Report. Brian, what sort of message does it send when your quarterback's out there looking absolutely miserable and uncomfortable in this weather?
Not a good message as view of the lineman. You want that guy to be out there right there with you, almost enjoying it, turning it around on him.
From the 45, first down. Banks throws. That's Gardner. He'll hop out of bounds. Inside Denver territory at the Bronco 47, Denard Walker.
What they're looking from Tony Banks here is not to lose the game. They don't expect him to win games for him because he doesn't know that much about the offense. I mean, he didn't have the luxury of having an off-season or a summer camp. He came here after the season started. He's fit in, he's played pretty well, but this is a great test to see what they have down the stretch.
Gardner got 8 on the catch, second down and 2. Ian Gold in the lineup for the Broncos. Coming on the rush, and Banks hit as he let it go, and it was Leon Lett who came in and put Banks on his back.
Well, that looked like the big cat days of old in Dallas from Leon Lett. Leon Lett working here over on the right guard, Ben Coleman. Ben Coleman in there at right guard because he's a good run blocker, but not for his pass blocking abilities.
You have to wonder about the right shoulder, the throwing shoulder of Tony Banks after taking that hit from Leon Lett. Just as he let the ball go, Lett put that big hand up on the right arm of Banks and everything went backward.
Nothing broke that fall. Kent Graham now the backup warming up. Another quarterback that was picked up here after the season started.
So Graham gets loose, and Banks, you hope that his shoulder stayed in the socket. He didn't have some sort of throwing arm trouble. As you see his day, he's been sacked one time. He's been hit a couple. He's fumbled twice, and he's had 3 balls batted back toward him.
Yeah, and you know, when he went to throw that ball, Joe, his arm was completely exposed. And Leon Lett, now weighing about 315 pounds, came right down on top of it. Tony Banks, who's been durable throughout his career, never missed a game as the starter in St. Louis. That arm is exposed, and both of the paws of the big cat, Leon Lett, got to it. Oof.
The left arm of Leon Lett met the right arm of Tony Banks. And Leon Lett, who was brought in here to help the Denver pass rush. And the pass rush from the front 4 hasn't been good. And Lett's been a part of that. You said early he might get some more action today to try to get some more size defensively up front for Denver. And he's in on that play. As you look at the offseason additions for the Denver Broncos, Washington has 2 sacks. McLaughlin has 1. And Lett, even though he got a pressure there and he knocked Banks down, has 0.
Yeah, you know, and combined from their defensive ends, have only have 3 sacks combined. So they haven't been getting a good pass rush. And that's one of the reasons why Ray Rhodes has been gambling the last 2 weeks, trying to get more pressure on the quarterbacks. It was effective against Doug Flutie last week, and it's been effective against Tony Banks today.
Ray Rhodes, who was the defensive coordinator for the Washington Redskins last year under Norv Turner, was offered the head coaching position by the Redskins and Daniel Snyder with 3 games remaining. He refused that. Terry Robisky got the position. And then during the offseason, when Schottenheimer was hired, Schottenheimer met with Ray Rhodes, and Rhodes said, I just don't want to be here. I want you to hire your own people. I'm going to move on. And after making that Washington defense good enough for a 4th ranking in the NFL last year, here he is putting the X's and O's on the board for the 12th ranked Broncos defense.
Well, Ray just wanted a change. He wanted out of Washington. And the irony is that Marty Schottenheimer coached Ray Rhodes when Ray was with the Giants. In fact, he converted Ray Rhodes from a wide receiver to a defensive back, where he finished out his career with the Giants and then the 49ers. And when he got done with the 49ers, he stayed on board there as the defensive back coach.
So the former head coach with both Philadelphia and Green Bay, and it was a short-lived stay in Green Bay for Ray Rhodes, was with the Redskins last year, now with Denver, and the defense for Ray Rhodes is throwing a shutout to this point. It's 10-0 Broncos, 1:50 left in the first half. We'll go back to Los Angeles for a game break with James.
All right, Joe, show you what happened here. Chris Collinsworth thinks highly of Jake Plummer. Why? Because the pump fake here hooks up with David Boston, 13 yards. He takes it in for the score, and it's all knotted now at 14 in Arizona. Take it back to Joe Buck and Brian Baldinger.
All right, JB, thank you. They have the cart obviously out on the field, and they'll have to carry Tony Banks off the field. Kent Graham, who's bounced around in his NFL career, will take over for Washington.
And this isn't good for Tony Banks. And in fact, you know, we were talking to Jimmy Ray, the offensive coordinator for the Redskins. He won't even mention the name of the quarterback that started the season. I will here, Jeff George. And so they did anything they could, right, to just get out of that bad situation. In fact, I was watching Marty Schottenheimer on the NFL Fox pregame show today talk about Jeff George, saying, I thought I could turn him around, and I was wrong. So they would take anybody in the NFL, including a Kent Graham who was out there on the street, before they would develop or continue with Jeff George.
So Marty Schottenheimer now, as the Redskins were starting to gain confidence in their quarterback, Tony Banks, will turn it over to Kent Graham, who's been with Pittsburgh. He has been with the Giants. He has bounced around in his career, will take over for Washington. And being down 10-0 in a 2-minute drill for this Redskin offense, they've taken Stephen Davis out of the lineup, and this is not how the Redskins wanted to come in here and play the Broncos. They wanted to pound the football all day, but here they are in a 10-0 hole, forced to go down the field with no timeouts and 2 minutes remaining.
Yeah, that comfort zone that they had at home doesn't exist right now. And down 10 points with the backup quarterback who hasn't taken a snap for your team is truly a challenge against a defense that has played well really for the last game and a half.
Let's go one more time back to James Brown, who's waiting with yet another game break in L.A.
Ex-Redskins quarterback Brad Johnson looking to try and get Keyshawn Johnson his first touchdown of the season, looking for him, but picked off instead by R.W. McQuarters. He stops that attempt for the touchdown, and right now it is still a 9-7 lead by Tampa Bay. That at the half. Back to Joe Buck and Brian Baltimore.
All right, JB, so the Washington Redskins, who came in averaging 161 yards per game on the ground over the last 3 games, have less than 50 yards on the ground here in the first half.
And a lot of that is just because the way the game has gone, where Washington has been in some bad field position, some bad situations. They've turned the ball over 3 times. They have never really gotten that game going, no rhythm to the running game. And now down 10-0, not that you have to abandon it, but right now you need points on the board.
So 49 yards on the ground for the Redskins, and they have it. Faced with a 3rd down, 2 to go, and they're inside Denver territory again with no timeouts left.
And Kent Graham's first play here is in shotgun. A wet, slippery ball.
Gardner, first down, got a good block on the outside, and he's thrown out of bounds at the 36. Al Wilson made the stop, and Graham, that took a while to set up, but it was worth it.
Well, he had hands in his face. He wanted to just throw the quick hitch, which is a very good call to the Redskins' fastest receiver. You can see Kent Graham over here. He's going to pump it because the hands are up right in his face, so he had to bring the ball back down. A couple good blocks on the outside. Rod Gardner doing a good job of getting out of bounds, sliding out of bounds.
Delta O'Neal is out of the lineup for Denver. In left corner is Eric Davis from the Denver 36. Blitz coming. Redskins pick it up, and Westbrook gets to the 30. Michael Westbrook with a catch, a gain of 6. Jimmy Spencer made the stop for Denver.
You know, what's nice about Kent Graham coming in this situation, it's all adrenaline. He doesn't have time to think right now. He's just going on what he's done, muscle memory of the past.
2nd down and 4, another short throw. It's complete. A couple yards short of a first down. Jannard Walker made the stop on Darius Thompson. Preliminary word on Tony Banks is a concussion. They've taken him out for precautionary reasons as the Redskins are having trouble lining up.
Here's the first down, getting inside the 31.
Graham lost the football, and the Redskins fall on it at the Denver 30, where it'll be 4th down. And it's time for the Redskins to try their first field goal of the day.
Yeah, it's just, again, sloppy ball handling. I mean, Kent Graham never really got it from the center Corey Raymer. John Carter doing a good job of just falling on it and rescuing the play.
25 seconds and counting left in the first half. Washington trying to get on the board. Kicking into the wind is Brett Conway. 48-yard try. It is good. It's a 10-3 Denver lead with 8 seconds left in the first half.
Real important points for the Redskins just to get on the board and to take a little of the good feeling that the Broncos had in this first half. And for Kent Graham just to get a little bit of confidence because he's probably going to be the guy in the second half.
48-yard field goal for Brett Conway. There's now 5 out of 6 in that range and 12 out of 14 on the season. Sloppy day, fumbles, fumbles, fumbles. You want them? We got them here in Denver. Tony Banks early. That was charged to Banks. Then Banks again near the sideline. Spencer came away with it. A muff punt, Eric Metcalf. That led to points for Denver. This latest fumble, falling on top of it, was Kajana Carter, and with that recovery, it at least allowed the Redskins to try the 48-yard field goal, and Conway was good into the wind to make it a 7-point game with 11 seconds remaining in the first half here in Denver.
The weather's been so good back east. Just beautiful. No bad weather affecting any team back there. Washington, Philadelphia, Baltimore. You have to expect it, though, coming to Denver. You got to think about it before the game, that we're going to be in bad weather. You've got to hang on to the ball.
Conway squibs it down the middle of the field. That's Cole. Chris Cole crosses the 35-yard line. And there will be one more play here in this first half after Brian Johnson made the stop for Washington. The numbers for Greasy are not impressive at all, except for the one on the end. Beautiful touchdown throw to Rod Smith from just inside the 1-yard line on 3rd and goal with their last possession. That'll do it for the first half with a score Denver 10, Washington 3. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris and the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox. With this group, you know what Rod Smith has done this season. He's the top receiver in the NFL. Coming into today, Keith Poole had 2 catches, Matt Dominguez 1, Chris Cole and Phil McGagan 0. Cole and McGagan are right at their season average. They have 0. Dominguez has none. Poole has none, and Rod Smith has 3, including the touchdown.
Well, none of the guys have stepped up, or at least Brian Greasy doesn't feel comfortable throwing the ball to them. And I think that's the bigger factor right now.
Well, Tony Banks was injured late in the first half. Chris Samuels on his way off the field. Samuels was a part of the blocking scheme, and Banks was knocked out of the game, a concussion. They're checking on him. Chris Samuels reminding us that Banks is gone but not forgotten.
We got to win this game for Tony Banks, man.
Win this game for Tony Banks, who had a rough first half that culminated with that hit by Leon Lett.
Well, Tony had said that the offensive line had rallied around him during the win streak, and I think they feel the same way.
Elam, short kick. Bates on a bounce from the 10. Kent stays on his feet. Penalty flags fly all over the place as Bates is brought down at the 22 by Jimmy Spencer. There are 3 flags on the field. You hear one official say face mask, and we'll see if there are any other infractions on that play.
That was a dangerous play by Michael Bates to let that ball bounce on this field, on this turf, in these conditions. As you can see, the ball is going to bounce funny here in the second half.
So offsetting fouls. Got a hold against Washington on the return and a face mask against the Denver Broncos. Again, our referee is Mike Carey.
There were fouls by both teams. Holding on the return by number 88 and a major face mask kicking team. Those fouls offset. Washington retains possession at the spot of the dead ball. First down.
So instead of having to re-kick, it's brought down at the 22. Bates was, and that's where the Redskins will start with it here in the second half. And we'll see if the Redskins, Brian Baldinger, try to establish Stephen Davis in that running game again.
Well, that's what I would do. With Kent Graham coming in his first action as a Redskin, I would try to go back to Stephen Davis and work this offensive line and work to get physical and do what they do best up front.
Nickel package in for Denver, and the Redskins keep it on the ground. There's Stephen Davis. He's got a first down, makes a move, and he's brought down eventually, still going inside Denver territory. Terrible tackling by the Denver Broncos as Stephen Davis will be marked down at the Denver 46.
Well, he was stopped right at the line of scrimmage. But I think Stephen Davis a little frustrated after that first half. You can see, I mean, they've got bodies on him. Chester McLaughlin is there. And now Eric Brown, he whiffs on him here in the middle of the field. Now you got defensive backs trying to tackle him. And it's like he was greased with Vaseline at halftime, the way they just slid off.
32-yard run. More yards than he had in the entire first half. And now first down, why not? Go right back to Stephen Davis. Over the right side, he gets it to the 41. Keith Washington made the stop for Denver.
Well, the Broncos' poor tackling contributed to the long run by Davis, but the Broncos have changed their tactic here in the second half. They're not walking those linebackers up into the line of scrimmage. They're keeping them at depth here. John Mobley and Al Wilson. In the first half, those guys were right in the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 6.
Now here they come. Now they're up in the line.
Everybody comes, and met in the backfield is Stephen Davis at the 45. Trevor Price and Eric Brown there for Denver. Let's go back to Los Angeles for a game break and James Brown.
Hey, Joe, offensive coordinator John Shoup criticized last week. Being too conservative, guess what? He loosens it up. Booker hauling it in, 44 yards. The next time Chicago got the ball, it's Miller and Booker again. This time a 66-yard play. 3 times they hooked up for touchdowns. It is now 21-9 Chicago over Tampa Bay in the third. Back to Joe Buck and Brian Baldwin.
Thank you, James Brown. Chicago, the last 10 games against Tampa Bay, averaging only 11 points per game from the shotgun. On 3rd and 9, Graham steps up, trying to get out of trouble, and he's forced out of bounds. Penalty flag on the play, as Mobley will get credit for the sack at the play stands.
Nobody came back to the football to rescue Ken Graham.
Come on, Ian! Holding offense number 76 is declined. 4th down.
Well, here's what Kent Graham was trying to find. You see the 2 receivers at the top. Rod Gardner, Darius Thompson right here. Nobody comes back as Kent Graham is scrambling to his right.
Brian Barker out there for his 4th punt of the day. Deltha O'Neal waiting deep for Denver. Good snap. Good punt. Into the end zone for a touchback. Came down inside the 1 and rolled back onto the goal line. Denver will have it at their own 20 when we come back.
Free to move about the country.
The tailgate crew is coming. The Miller Lite Tailgate Tour. Join the party as it rolls across the country and win a chance to tailgate at Super Bowl 36. Want a party like the pros? Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time.
What would you do if someone passed you the keys to a Pontiac Grand Am for a week?
Now I'm getting psyched.
I can't believe I did it.
Oh my God! How do you feel? So excited. Gotta grab me. Mistake number 3, right? I'm telling everybody for the rest of my life about this.
So what would you do with a Pontiac Grand Am? Tell us at Pontiac.com.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Pontiac. What would you do with some Pontiac excitement?
New stadium in Denver with a slightly different name. Nobody's happier to be finished with Mile High Stadium than Marty Schottenheimer, but so far it's been more of the same. No Elway, but Schottenheimer is 2 lifetime playing here in Denver. Griese back to throw. Keith Poole, the first reception made by a Denver wideout other than Rod Smith. First time today, and he got 10 yards. They will give Denver a first down.
And of those other receivers, Matt Dominguez and Chris Cole, he is the most experienced. He played a lot with the New Orleans Saints over the last 4 years. So at least he has some experience out there on the field, and I think it's encouraging that Brian Griese went to him the first play of the second half.
Handoff, Anderson met at the 30, and he got about a yard.
Robert Jones was there first, an outside linebacker. Robert Jones is just an interesting guy to me because he's in his 9th year in this league, and everywhere he goes, he starts. He was started for the Dallas Cowboys as a rookie on some Super Bowl teams, and he played in St. Louis as a starter, the Miami Dolphins last year. But he's always kind of caught up in a salary cap deal, and he came in here and had some injuries to Sean Barber. He has stepped in and played well for him.
Second down and 9 for Denver. Ball at their own 31. Incomplete. A lot of contact between Bailey and Rod Smith, but no flag. Third and 9.
Well, that's been the matchup today. Champ Bailey with Rod Smith. Rod Smith got him in the end zone on a 1-yard touchdown. But look at the position of Champ Bailey. Knees bent, shoulders out over the knees, muscling him down the field. A lot of contact, but all within the 5 yards.
So now third and 9 for Denver, leading 10-3. Just under 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Here's that matchup going on down here at the bottom of the screen.
Griese looking for Smith, and the ball's batted down. Rod Smith on the near sideline, it looked like was the intended target, and the ball was knocked back at Griese. It looked like Sam Shade, the strong safety, got in there, and he had friends with him.
Bruce Smith coming from the outside, and Sam Shade came late on a delayed blitz. And you're right, he was going down the field to Rod Smith. Big Daddy Wilkinson got a little air under those feet. A little vertical hop.
It's lighter air out here in Denver.
Lighter air, and I think he got a bigger vertical hop than what I've seen from Michael Jordan so far this year.
Another Tom Ruin punt. Line drive punt. Metcalf. Chance for a big return. Forced out of bounds at the 36 by Chris Cole. And some action going on the sideline. A penalty flag comes flying, and these two teams are now frustrated in each other's faces.
Yeah, and watching Eric Metcalf on the return. He was trying to get to the wall that they set up on the sideline. Just couldn't get by the first wave.
Personal foul, major face mask on our kicking team number 42. 15 yards, first down.
Detron Smith guilty of the personal foul. 15 yards. Good field position for Washington when we come back.
Prohibited.
Washington will start with it, down by 7 at the Denver 48. Two tight ends for Washington. Kent Graham at quarterback. Stephen Davis brought down behind the line of scrimmage, lost a yard as Trevor Price got through to make the stop.
Trevor Price, their best defensive lineman, finished the play, but the penetration from the left guard, Dave Zott, who was pulling on the play. Denver got into the backfield, knocked him off his block, and they ate up the rest. The play was really bad from the beginning.
Loss of 1, second down and 11.
Zott, of course, played 10 years in Washington, most of them with Marty Schottenheimer.
Denver showing blitz, and they're all coming. And whistles and flags before the snap. Mike Carey has been busy.
Ball start. Offense number 89. 5 yards. So second down.
Second down and 16 when we come back. Right now, back to Los Angeles. James Brown and a game break.
And there is no give up on the part of Detroit. Take a look at Charlie Batch. Play action here, going deep for Johnny Morton. He lays out, holds it in, was not touched. Finally, Corey Chavis gives chase and drags him down. That leads to a 1-yard touchdown strike to the tight end Davis Sloan. 28-21 Detroit. Back to Joe and Brian.
All right, JB.
This area is open in the middle of the field.
On second down and 16, Stephen Davis got a yard. It'll be 3rd and 15 as Eric Brown came up from his free safety spot to make the stop.
Well, the Broncos are gambling like crazy. So far, the Redskins haven't been adept enough at taking advantage of it. That area I circled in the middle of the field is wide open. With all these guys up here, this is where you want to attack, right behind it, because these guys have to be able to drop back from being right at the line of scrimmage and get back, and they haven't been able to do it.
If you're the Redskins and you don't trust Kent Graham enough to throw on second down and 16 with that defense, he shouldn't be on the team. 3rd down and 15. Graham over the middle. Gardner can't hang on. Deltha O'Neal defending for Denver, and Rod Gardner has not shown up today.
Yeah, you know, and you just saw the Redskins in a 2nd and 16, 3rd and 16 situation. During the 3-game winning streak at home, they were out of those type of situations because they were getting yards on first down. And Denver, because they're stacking the line of scrimmage, is taking away effective first downs from the Redskins.
You can see that ball was tipped coming out a little bit behind Gardner, who could not adjust. Barker with another punt. Gets away another good one. O'Neal will let it go over his head, and it will be downed at the 1-yard line. Denver will start with it from their own 1 with 8:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter. It's 10-3 Denver, and they'll be backed up to start with it here when we come back. Start here the last time he played on Thanksgiving. They're going to start with it from their own 3. The officials change the spot of the football, and this is nearly intercepted by Terrell.
Broncos are going to Desmond Clark, the tight end. Remember, with all the injuries to the wide receivers, the tight ends are becoming a bigger part of this offense. You'd like to have somebody with more speed coming across the field than Desmond Clark, but that's what they're faced with.
So again, after initially marking the ball down on the 1 during the break, the officials moved it out to the 3. And it's second down and 10 from the 3 for the Broncos. Wow. Quick slant, the catch by Poole. He's collared at the 14-yard line, very near the first down marker. We'll see where they put it down. Fred Smoot made the tackle.
And it's a good thing that Brian Griese got rid of that football so quickly, because Bruce Smith, at age 39 here, gets a jump.
8 or 9 yards on the way.
Fred Smoot got him down.
So now it's 3rd and 1 as Poole was brought down just shy of the first down marker, and Brian Griese keeps it and dives forward for a first down. Now the Broncos 8 for 8 on 3rd and 1 this season.
With Griese, quarterback sneaking it. It's an effective tool for him. And that's a Brian Griese that's already had a shoulder with MRI this year, that was injured early this year, and was surgically repaired last year.
Fresh set of downs for the Broncos. Ball on the Denver 14. Play action from Griese. Dumps it off, and it's incomplete. That was Anderson out of the backfield, and he was covered by LeVar Arrington. For the Broncos, the season average, they averaged 215 yards through the air. Today, 39 yards.
Nothing down the field today. Everything has been horizontal, nothing vertical.
Yet the Broncos lead it 10-3. Thanks in large part to 3 Washington turnovers.
Bruce Smith lives to these situations.
Second down and 10. Griese over the middle. Pass is caught by Clark. Clark immediately brought down at the 19 by Arrington. Third down coming up for Denver.
It looks like Denver is just going to their passing game. And, you know, they're a team that will always surprise you with their flexibility in their offense. Just in the Super Bowl against Atlanta 3 years ago, everybody expected a healthy dose of Terrell Davis that day, and they came out and spread the field with 5 wide receivers and picked Atlanta apart.
Third down and 5.
Rod Smith in the slot against Champ Bailey.
Greasy over the middle, incomplete. It was dropped by Desmond Clark. We've seen that on each side all day. Time for Denver to punt.
Well, Greasy has put it right in a good spot. He's getting protection. He's getting rid of the football quickly. He's making the right reads.
Hold up.
It's like nobody wants the ball.
4th and 5, and it's Tom Bruin. Redskins back off. Beautiful punt by Ruin. Metcalf from inside the 30. Drops the football. It looked like Washington fell on top of it.
Boy, Eric Metcalf, who fumbled one earlier in the first half that led to the Broncos' only touchdown, careless with the ball in the open field.
The Redskins recover after a quick turnaround. Hello, goodbye football, but the Redskins keep it down by out to the 38. Let's go down to the field for a Tony Banks update. Here's David Treadwell.
Hey guys, pretty good news for Tony Banks. You saw he got carted off at the end of the first half there. They're still saying it's just a concussion. They've taken him to the hospital to get a CAT scan. That's more precautionary because it's a 3-hour plane ride home. He is moving all his extremities though. That's good news for Tony Banks.
All right, David, thank you. On 2nd down and 6. Big hit put on by Eric Brown as Graham just got rid of it. Incomplete. 3rd down coming up.
And the Broncos' game plan hasn't changed because Kent Graham is in the game for the Redskins. They are blitzing the middle of the field, trying to get pressure in the face of the quarterback quickly like Eric Brown just did, and taking away the vision of the quarterback.
3rd and 6. Two tight ends in the game for Washington. The Broncos blitz. The throw complete to Westbrook and a first down at the 50. Delta O'Neal made the stop, but not before Graham got it to Michael Westbrook.
And the only way you stop the blitz is by beating the blitz. Here they are. They're all. Mal Wilson's up in the line. Eric Brown is up in the line. Good protection. They go to a max protection that time, run only a 2-receiver route. Westbrook with a good pivot route coming back to the ball, and Kent Graham looking a little fired up after that completion.
Just shy of midfield, first down for the Redskins. Everyone up on the line of scrimmage again for Denver. Time for Graham. And the tight end drops it. That was Flemister. Graham put it right in his chest, and Zeron Flemister could not make the catch.
The Redskins went to a play-action pass, trying to get something deep down the field, trying to create a big play, but everything was taken away from them here. I mean, all these guys are covered down here. Kent Graham had no choice but to go to a check down. I mean, here, they're not even looking for the ball, and Kent Graham wants to throw it. They were just running a clearing route, not even looking for the football.
2nd down and 10. Stephen Davis got back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Again, Eric Brown, along with help from Kavika Pittman. First time I've said his name all day.
They haven't mentioned these defensive ends much, but the Redskins are just doing quirky things here. I mean, this is a running team. The rain has stopped. The field is pretty good. Stephen Davis has had some decent runs in the 3rd quarter. You have to run the ball first down, stay with it, 2nd down, and wear this team down. And if all those guys are in the line of scrimmage, eventually you're going to split it. And you're going to get through the first wave and into the secondary.
Kajana Carter in the backfield for the Redskins on 3rd and 10. Big blitz, incomplete. And it's time for Washington to punt as Kenoi Kennedy came up and put pressure on Kent Graham.
Well, I'd say right now that the Redskins are struggling with their inability to pick up the blitz. But the reason why the Broncos are blitzing is because the Redskins won't stay with the run and do what they do best. Get physical. Put a hat on a hat in these guys to move the line of scrimmage. I bet you that Chris Samuels is just begging for him to do it on the sideline right now.
Another Brian Barker punt. Another good one for Deltha O'Neal. A hop and into the end zone. The Broncos will get it at their own 20. We'll take a break. 4:02 left in this third quarter with the Broncos still up 10-3. It is officially snowing here in Denver. Thoughts of Craig Morton and Rick Upchurch dancing through my head. Here we are in the third quarter with 4:02 left. Denver has it up 10-3, and that's Anderson. One of his better runs of the day, got it up to the 25-yard line. Take a look at some of the early game headliners. Chris Chandler helped the Atlanta Falcons defeat Green Bay in Green Bay with 352 yards through the air. Then it was Garcia with San Francisco. They came back to tie it with, 1 second left and won it in overtime.
4th overtime win this year.
Aaron Glenn and Victor Green.
Yeah. Jets shut out the Dolphins. The Dolphins' first shutout loss since 1970.
Second down and 5. Play action from Greasy. Good fake. Finally the throw, and the catch is made by Anderson. Tripped up and brought down at the 40 by Kevin Mitchell.
Oh, they wanted Rod Smith down the field, but he was well covered. But Brian Greasy was able to buy a little bit of time outside the pocket.
That good fake had something to do with it.
Absolutely. Really hides this ball well. Right into the stomach of Michael Anderson. He just slipped out the back door for a little escape. And that's hard to cover a man that long.
Rod Smith checks out of the lineup. Chris Cole is in there. He's in motion. First down, Denver. Another play action. Another throw. It's tipped and incomplete. Arrington got his hand on it as Denver trying to get it to Carswell. We get it to James Brown back in Los Angeles for a game break.
Hey, Joe Buck, Tampa Bay battling back into this one. A Chicago pass interference call set up this 1-yard run by Mike Allstott. It is down 24-16. That in the fourth, 12:25 to play. Joe and Brian.
So the Bears trying to move their record to 7-2 after Green Bay earlier in the day. Went to 6-3. Tampa Bay trying to get over the 500 mark. And Minnesota at 3-5. They'll play on Monday night. Second down and 10. Greasy pulls it back in, completes it. That's Clark, and he lost the football. Washington has it at midfield. LeVar Arrington made the recovery.
That's been the story of the game today. Hanging on to the football for both sides. Both teams' inability to do it. And that's probably how this game is going to be decided today. Pretty picture. Boy, Greasy reading the defense well, finding Desmond Clark and Arrington, who turned this team around with an interception return for a touchdown against Carolina over a month ago. Again, coming up with the loose ball. Man, that was iffy whether he was going to play today or not with the high ankle sprain.
First Denver turnover of the day. Washington has it. Again, the Broncos bring people up to the line of scrimmage, and it's Westbrook on the reception. Deltha O'Neal brought him down at the 35-yard line with a Washington first down.
Well, the Redskins haven't figured out the Bronco defense, because when you walk up 8 men on the line of scrimmage like they've been playing today, you're going to get some runs that are negative, that are a -1, 0, but then you're going to get some huge runs when you split them. And that's an adjustment you have to make during the game. That's what you should be doing on the sideline.
15-yard completion to Westbrook. On first down, Graham throws, and it's caught. Michael Westbrook on the other side of the field has a first down out of bounds at the 20. Denard Walker, the defender this time for Denver.
Well, I think Michael Westbrook is liking the fact that Kent Graham is in the game. He's getting some balls right now, taking advantage of that zone defense of the Broncos that are trying not to give up the big play and keeping it in front of them.
Westbrook now has 5 catches. The Colorado Buffaloes all-time leading receiver when he played collegiately up in Boulder.
That was Ray Rhodes in the booth, and he game plans each team differently every week. There's nothing you can pigeonhole about this Bronco defense from week to week.
Penalty flags fly before the start of that play. Movement on the line of scrimmage. McLaughlin made the stop, but we will check the call. Looked like Denver came across the line too quickly, and they did. This will be against the Broncos.
The Redskins get a free 5 yards.
Offside. Defense, number 95. 5 yards. Still 1st and 5.
From Mike Carey to James Brown back in Los Angeles with another game break.
And Joe, it's been the Plummer to Boston hookup for Arizona that has kept them right on the heels of Detroit. Plummer hooking up with Boston here, 18-yard strike, 2nd reception of the game for TD for Boston, 3rd toss for Plummer, 3-point difference in favor of Detroit. Back to Joe and Brian.
0-8 meeting 2-6. A good game in the desert. 1st and 5 for Washington. Stephen Davis to the 10. Looks like they'll mark him just short of a Washington 1st down.
Well, that's what the Redskins should be doing. That's what Stephen Davis wants to do. And that's what the Broncos have taken away from him with a variety of different gambling schemes up front.
Half minute left to play in the 3rd quarter. It's 2nd down and less than a yard. Davis, 1st down. Got to the 6, turned backward, and it'll be 1st and goal when the 4th quarter begins here in Denver for the Washington Redskins. That is the end of the 3rd quarter. It's 10-3 Denver with Washington on the move. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. All the scoring so far done in the 2nd quarter prior to the snap and prior to the start of the 4th quarter. The offensive line for the Redskins, which has been grinding out some yards now for Washington. Dave Zott and the rest of the gang up in the faces of those Denver defensive linemen.
Chris Samuels trying to take charge of that huddle, saying coming out of the tunnel at halftime that he wanted to win the game for Tony Banks. And you can bet that Chris Samuels wants this ball run right behind him on this play.
He's the left tackle. We'll see if the Redskins run left. John Mobley trying to get this crowd going. This crowd which has really thinned out since halftime. Graham had trouble with a snap, and he was lucky to get the ball to Stephen Davis, who lunges forward to the 4-yard line. Chester McLaughlin made the stop for the Broncos.
Just hang on to the football. I mean, because this took away the whole rhythm of the play. Stephen Davis wanted to stick it right behind the left tackle. Instead, just went where the only softness was, behind the center.
2nd and goal. Redskins with only 1 rushing touchdown all season. Going to put it up. Touchdown, Westbrook. What a drive the Redskins put together, and Michael Westbrook was right in the middle of it, hooking up with Graham on big completions all the way down the field.
And give Kent Graham a lot of credit here. Excellent play-action fake. Michael Westbrook just finding the soft spot in the zone, and that's what the Broncos were doing. Zoning the end zone, and all you got to do is just feel that softness, and Kent Graham saw it, felt it, and delivered it. So you can't even hold on to the football after the touchdown.
Well,
to spike it.
It looked like Westbrook's touchdown celebration, including him acting as though he couldn't get the ball away from his right hand. But as we've seen all day, nobody can hang on to the ball.
Now, the ball hasn't been attached to anybody's hands. But Westbrook has really gotten involved here in the 2nd half with Kent Graham.
Brett Conway will attempt to tie it. It's 10-10. through the air. Westbrook gets the touchdown, his 4th of the year. Come on. Are you kidding me? Nobody can hang on to it. It's 10-10 in the 4th quarter. It's been a progression this season for Washington from Jeff George to Tony Banks, and now due to injury, Kent Graham, who hooked up with Michael Westbrook on a 5-yard touchdown throw, and it's 10-10. Conway happy to be kicking with the wind. Gets it into the arms of Chris Cole, who takes a knee, and the Broncos will start with it at their own 20.
Yeah, and you know, the Redskins defense has done a good job of shutting down the rushing attack of the Broncos today, and they're out there on the field now. You know, and putting the ball in Brian Griese's hands to see if he can beat him. But I don't think Griese has enough weapons to beat anybody right now. Good feeling on the sidelines. All of a sudden, you get to know those teammates a little bit better after you contribute to some success.
Last October 15th, the last time Graham threw a touchdown pass in the NFL. That's Anderson. He gets to the 25, a gain of 5, brought down by Marco Coleman.
Big guy in the middle of that defense has been Big Daddy Wilkinson, who also was the first pick in the NFL draft with Cincinnati. But he's come here, and this has been his best year. And he said a big part of it was how healthy he's been. He had 4 shoulder surgeries in past years. He said this by far is the healthiest, and he's been rushing the passer well. And you have a name like Big Daddy, you bring a lot of personality to the team with it.
2nd down and 5. Anderson tries the right side. He got a couple. 3rd and short coming up for Denver.
You know, he got the nickname Big Daddy when he was in 7th grade. And guess why? Right here on the center, taking on that double team. That allows the linebackers to come in and make this stop. But he just split a double team there by Tom Nalen and Dan Neal and took it backwards.
3rd down and 3 for the Broncos. Detron Smith in the backfield for Denver. Play action. Griese was looking for Smith. Out of trouble momentarily. Penalty flag on the play. And there is Big Daddy Dan Wilkinson bringing down Griese. His 2nd sack of the year, and we'll check the foul.
Big Daddy pushed that pocket right into the face of Brian Griese that time.
Holding offense number 62.
Well, that's Big Daddy in there. And here he is pushing the pocket right here on Dan Neal. Walked him right back, and that's after taking a bump from Detron Smith, the fullback. And now he's being held. Hey, he throws up his arms. This is the same guy that collects cars, Joe, and one of the cars that he had to do away with was a turbocharged 911 Porsche.
Hang on one second. Hang on.
Loved driving it. He just had a hard time getting in it and out of it.
He said it was ugly getting in and out of the Porsche, but actually once he was in, he fit all right. Ruin with another punt. Line drive. Metcalf from the 36. Eric Metcalf able to hang on to the ball this time, and he's brought down at the Washington 45. So again, good field position for the Redskins. Washington's tied it. They have the ball. It's 10-10 in the 4th quarter. Some of the remaining crowd here in Denver. Quite a few have left. A 10-10 score, 4th quarter. 1st down for Washington. Stephen Davis. Big hole over the right side and a 1st down. Al Wilson climbed his back as Stephen Davis picked up a fresh set of downs for Washington.
And that's his 19th carry of the day. I said at the start that he'd like to get 25 today. Watch the excellent block on the outside here by Zarin Flemister. Gets the corner for Davis to take it outside. Rod Gardner coming back and picking off Deltha O'Neal. Big train is starting to roll a little bit.
13-yard gain, 1st down. Now Davis on this side of the field. Stephen Davis out of bounds inside the 30. Denard Walker forced him out.
Redskins playing their kind of football, running right behind Chris Samuels.
Penalty flag on the play.
Illegal block on the back. On the offense, number 52. He lost contact, then contact in the middle of the back. 10-yard penalty. Remains 1st down.
What he said was he lost contact. And a center can push somebody in the back if he has them all along. You see, once he disengaged from him, he can't come back and then hit him because that's an illegal block in the back.
So that negated another first down pickup by Stephen Davis, and Kajana Carter comes into the lineup for Washington. Ball back on Washington's side of the 50. It's 2nd and 21 with a play clock down to 1. Graham to throw, and it's caught. Far side of the field. Out of bounds is Westbrook. Bill Romanowski forced him out of bounds. Let's go for another game break. Here's James Brown in L.A.
Joe Buck, a seesaw affair between Detroit and Arizona. Arizona goes on top as Jake Plummer tosses his 4th touchdown of the afternoon. That was to Marte Jenkins. They're up 35-31 over Detroit. Back to Joe Buck, Ryan Baldwin.
Yeah, JB, and I think the only time that Jake wins is on those fourth quarter comebacks. It's when he plays his best ball when they're down. And you see the weather has gotten bad again, and Kent Graham seemingly throwing the ball good in this type of weather.
Play clock running out. Down to 1, and Graham just got it away. Now throws. Gardner, incomplete.
Redskins taking a shot for a big play. Got Rod Gardner, their deep threat, beating the defensive back Denard Walker on the play, but you know, you're never beat until the ball gets there. He was running down at him against Denard Walker. Got the separation he wanted. Just a little overthrow by Graham, and again, hurrying to get the play off.
3rd down and 12. Graham over the middle of the field. No penalty flag as there was contact made on Walter Rasby by Romanowski.
Bill Romanowski was all over Rasby that time. Romo's been doing that for a long time, too. I think he might have gotten away with one. Here's the play. Got his hands wrapped on him. Comes right over the top of him, and kind of a nice little acting job of getting the hands off him right away.
A guy who believes the officials are always looking for something out of him to throw a flag, and now Barker hangs one up. Short, but it takes a Washington bounce. And it'll be down just outside the Denver 10. So Washington had good field position. A penalty really hurt the Redskins on that drive, and now Denver has it back. It's a tie game. There aren't many offensive leaders left for the Denver Broncos, but on the day, Greasy is thrown for only 77 yards. Gary is the leading rusher for Denver, and Rod Smith, who has 3 catches, is not on the field right now. For Denver, he's on the sideline, bothered by an ankle sprain, and he's watching as Denver takes over 10-10 game from their own 10. Anderson crosses the 10, brought down at the 13-yard line, a gain of 3. Kevin Mitchell made the stop.
Well, Rod Smith didn't finish the fourth quarter against Seattle either. We said at the start that he was really bothered by a high ankle sprain. It bothered him and hobbled him during practice this week. I think it's just given out on him. And like we said, the other guys have to step up. So far today, Keith Poole's the only other player that's had the, that caught other passes. Chris Cole still hasn't caught a pass in this league.
Both Cole and Poole line up on the left side, and a toss to Anderson running left. He gets to the 15. That is it. Good defensive work. Kevin Mitchell in the middle of it for Washington. Let's go back to Los Angeles for a game break.
Hey, Joe, how nice to have an additional weapon by the name of Jerry Rice. Rich Gannon hooking up with Rice. 3rd touchdown reception of the day for Rice. Oakland wins it, improves to 7-2 atop the AFC West. Back to Joe Buck and Brian Baldinger.
So 7-2. Meanwhile, Denver 5-4.
Broncos trying to chase him. The Raiders whipped them about 2 weeks ago.
Greasy rolls out on 3rd down. He is hit, brought down short of a first down. It was Marco Coleman and Bruce Smith who combined to make the stop. And 2 players for Washington down, including Bruce Smith. Meanwhile, it'll be time for Denver to punt when play resumes.
Boy, just a nasty collision. Both of them in valiance going for Brian Greasy. Bruce Smith coming all the way on the other side of the field, unblocked on the play, giving it a chase. Boom. Greasy knows where the sticks are, trying to fight for that first down.
It's LeVar Arrington who is down. Arrington and Bruce Smith came together, and it looked like Bruce Smith just went face first into the turf after getting hit and hit hard by LeVar Arrington, and there's LeVar Arrington who's getting looked at.
Well, LeVar Arrington knocked himself out against the Carolina Panthers about a month ago. A play just like that. What happened from both guys is that they have tunnel vision for the quarterback. They're not looking around him at all, going all out on the play. And it seems like Arrington every week sustains some kind of injury from just being aggressive. High ankle sprain against Seattle, going to make a play.
Look at Smith.
Oh.
He couldn't even get his hands up to brace his fall as he went face first into the grass, but thank goodness he is up and able to walk around as he was clocked by LeVar Arrington. It's 4th down and 1, by the way, and Denver's going to have to punt the ball again.
Well, it's just been a great effort by the defense all day long. And for Bruce Smith, he missed a couple of games with a sprained shoulder this year. And he said that he came back earlier than he thought he could because he just missed playing, and that's what he's done throughout his career.
You know, it was an interesting quote that we got from Dan Wilkinson when he said that we no longer have the fear of losing. And when they were on that slide, losing their first 5 games, I think they were in the mindset of, all right, what's going to happen next? Now they're thinking of it the opposite way, and they believe they could win this game coming in, and here they are about to get the ball back in a tie game, 4th quarter.
And it's been a total team effort here. The defense has done their part all day. You know, and then Kent Graham has come off the bench, and that's what you want from your backup quarterback. A guy that can come in and rescue a game for you.
Ugly punt by Ruin. It's been an adventure with Eric Metcalf back there. Sidesteps one tackle and gets to the 46. Let me say this. Why don't you say it? Good field position for Washington when we come back. Is this game important for Washington? They lost their first 5. They won 3 in a row. They're not only here in Denver today, but they're at Philadelphia, first place Philadelphia next week. Philadelphia took it to Dallas today, so they lead the division at 6-3. First down for Washington from their own 46. Play action from Graham, and he is sacked by Romanowski. Number 4 on the year from Bill Romanowski.
Oh, and Kent Graham wanted Westbrook down the middle of the field. Needed 1 more second to do it. You see Romo coming from the outside, beat Stephen Davis on the block. And for Romanowski, I guess that visit to the hyperbaric chamber on Friday has paid off. A few more red blood cells than maybe Stephen Davis on that play.
Loss of 10 on the sack. 2nd down and 20. Pass is complete inside Denver territory, and it's Michael Westbrook again.
Big time throw, huh? And for Kent Graham, you can tell that he's well prepared for this game. Even though he hasn't had an opportunity to play, Westbrook has been his guy. Gotten Westbrook involved in this entire second half.
16-yard completion, 3rd down and 4. A 90-yard day for Michael Westbrook. Graham throws, Westbrook incomplete, but a penalty flag on the play. Denard Walker defending, but this came from the secondary, and this appears to be against Denver.
Pass interference. This is why the Redskins are throwing the football. There's nobody here in the middle of the field. Everybody is up, forcing the Redskins out of the running game. That was an uncatchable ball, Joe.
Denard Walker defending for Denver.
Westbrook lost his footing.
Pass interference. Defense. Before the ball was touched. Automatic. First down.
Well, they didn't call a number, and I didn't see anything from Denard Walker.
Well, they weren't called pass interference on the other side of the field. They're looking where the quarterback is throwing the football. First of all, Westbrook slipped. And then the other thing Shanahan is arguing about was he couldn't have caught that ball if he did. They may be arguing if this ball was deflected. Looked like the ball could have been deflected, and this could get reviewed. I see the red flag down on the field.
So the Broncos are going to challenge this.
And there can be no pass interference if the ball is deflected. Shanahan was probably trying to get the beeper, but maybe the beeper doesn't work in the snow.
See if this ball was tipped.
Like Trevor Price got his hand up on that ball.
Denver is challenging the ruling on the field as the ball was not tipped.
Tell you, from that angle, it didn't look like the ball was tipped.
I don't think so either. Trevor Price here on the screen.
It looked like it changed a bit after it got past Price. See if we get a better angle of it.
That ball just came out wobbly.
Tough to tell, and I don't think we've seen anything that would reverse the call on the field yet. I don't think he got it. It's McLaughlin who got his hand up. Price coming off the corner, and I don't believe that any of the Denver defenders got a hand on that football. Certainly nothing in the category.
I think you can look at this from now until when the snow stops, and I don't think it's going to change it.
Ooh. That just comes out ugly.
That was the best look. Mike Carey in the hood, taking a look at all the replays. That was the best shot.
Let's get another shot of it.
Ooh. Trevor Price might have gotten a fingertip on that.
Price certainly believes he did. They showed that on the board here, I believe, and that was Shanahan's reaction. And Price is dancing around in midfield. He may have come in and gotten a piece of it. The question is, will Mike Carey see enough on those replays to reverse the call?
Yeah, that's Mike's call. It's got to be indisputable evidence to overturn it. We were saying earlier that there was 41 overturns this year in the NFL, and of all the replays. We've seen Mike's a little bit busy underneath the hood this afternoon.
By the way, while Mike Carey looks into that hood, we'll tell you that Bruce Smith was dinged, and he is expected to return before the end of this day. That's good news for Washington. And now, if Mike Carey sees enough looking through that visor, then we need to get a visor up here in the booth.
We can see exactly what he's looking at. I notice that Mike doesn't wear any gloves out there. Braving the elements.
So the challenge is up to 45 seconds, and we'll take yet another look.
He's timing himself on his own Casio down there. That ball, two sets of hands are up there. And if anybody hit it, was Trevor Price.
Meanwhile, Denard Walker, I can't blame him on the other end of it. I mean, there was virtually no contact with Michael Westbrook, and that's the other end of this call that you have to scratch your head about.
Well, you have to wonder if the ball wasn't catchable. When it's not a catchable ball, there can be no pass interference. The other part was Westbrook slipped trying to get his footing on to make the catch.
Here's where they threw the flag on Denard Walker.
No hands on him.
And I mean, there's just nothing there.
Never initiate any contact with him. If anything, Westbrook slipped a little bit into him.
Let's see if they'll reverse it.
After reviewing the play, the replay does not show conclusive evidence that the ball is tipped. remains, Denver will be charged with their first team timeout.
So you can understand why they didn't reverse it based on the replays, but I don't understand why the flag was thrown in the first
place. Absolutely. And on top of it, Shanahan loses the timeout now. And the Redskins retain possession and first down.
And it's a first down on top of it at the Denver 41. They'll be replaying that here in Denver. And the Broncos, in my mind at least, have every reason to be upset. That was a third down throw, remember. And the pass interference gives Washington a first down. Now Graham loses the ball, gets it to Davis, who breaks into the open field and gets a first down, brought down at the 27-yard line by Denard Walker.
This is unbelievable. I mean, we talked to the offensive coordinator of the Redskins yesterday, Jimmy Ray, and he was happy that Tony Banks could get in and out of the huddle. I think right now he would just be happy if Kent Graham could just get the ball from center.
But here's what you've talked about, that when you have everybody up on the line, it leaves the middle of the defense wide open, and that's exactly where Stephen Davis went as Kavika Pittman gets looked at on the Denver sideline. Leon Lett in there for Denver. Here come the Broncos again. There's Stephen Davis. Good carry on first down inside the 25. Keith Washington made the stop. Here's James Brown for a game break in Los Angeles.
Tampa Bay's defense gave the offense a chance to tie Chicago or go ahead, but look at what Brad Johnson does. Throws a pick, picked off by Tony Parrish, and if Chicago holds on, it will have sole possession of the NFC Central. 1:27 left. Back to Joe and Brian.
Flags fly before the snap.
False start. Offense, number 79.
That'll move Washington back.
Second down.
Dave Zott, the left guard, just a little too quick on him.
Big difference for the Redskins is Zott is back into better playing shape. Ben Coleman has solidified the right guard position up front for Marty Schottenheimer, and the running game has been the big difference for the Redskins during this 3-game winning streak.
Stephen Davis right now at 100 yards. Really, just because of that 5-yard penalty, they shouldn't get away from the run. They should stay with it.
Second down and 11. Denver showing blitz. They back out of it, and Graham throws. It's complete to Westbrook again. And a first down for Washington just outside the Denver 15.
Westbrook never been a bigger part of this offense this year than he has in the second half. Hooking up with Kent Graham, working against Deltha O'Neal. The offensive player has the advantage in these kind of conditions. He knows when he's going to stop. The defensive player has to react. Just over the outstretched arms of Bill Romanowski.
14-yard completion. And it's a first down just outside the Denver 15. 10-10. Under 5 minutes to play fourth quarter. Stephen Davis. Nothing there, brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Trevor Price was there for Denver.
Denver just all-out gambling up front, just trying to stop the run, make Kent Graham drop back again. Because every time the ball's in his hands, or it seems like there's a chance that it could fall out of the hands.
Loss of 3 on the play. Kavika Pittman is back in there defensively for Denver. Second down and 13.
Romanowski up on the line of scrimmage, looked like he might come on this play.
Play action, wide open, Flemister. First down inside the 5.
Excellent call away from the blitz, away from the stacked defense, getting Kent Graham outside the pocket, and he picked up a very good block by Michael Westbrook. Watch the action here. Everybody gets sucked in. Now watch Flemister. He picks up a block from Westbrook, just knocking Kenoy Kennedy out of the way. Here's Westbrook working downfield, trying to make something happen, coming across the field. He doesn't get the ball, so now he comes back and just gets a nudge on Kennedy.
It looked like the Redskins couldn't get the play in, and Kent Graham, with a play clock winding down, is forced to spend a Washington timeout. Now each side has 2 timeouts remaining with 3:23 left in the fourth quarter.
And the Redskins couldn't ask for anything more from Kent Graham today. With very little action so far this season, coming off the bench, new to the system, and executing things very well, getting Michael Westbrook involved.
Well, the offense has picked it up for Washington in the second half with 158 total yards, 247 on the day, and the Denver Broncos, who call this game a must-win, taking on the Redskins, who call this game a must-win, and it's 10-10 with Washington, a first and goal from just inside the 4-yard line.
And you know, it looks like Kent Graham has that toughness that you were discussing in the first half. You know, he's played in Pittsburgh. He played in New York. He's used to these kind of elements. He played at Ohio State. And it doesn't look like the weather or the conditions out here has affected his throws much.
18 first downs for the Redskins, 12 in this second half. Tackle eligible on this play, Matt Campbell, who wears number 66. The Denver Broncos, who are 4-1 at their new home, 5-4 overall. Oakland, they won today. They're 7-2, leading the AFC West. First and goal. Stephen Davis hit in the backfield, fighting to the 2, and that's it. And Denver's going to spend a timeout.
Stephen Davis doesn't go down easy because he was hit behind the line of scrimmage by Chester McLaughlin, but it kept moving.
And an injury on the play. The Redskins, who have only 1 rushing touchdown this season, fewest in the NFL, have Matt Campbell, who was in as a tackle eligible, down after that play. Thank you, Pat. We would like to welcome those of you watching the Bears and Tampa Bay. Big win for Chicago, 27-24 over Tampa Bay. So it's the Bears on top now in the NFC Central, a game better than Green Bay, who lost today at home to Atlanta. Give you a game summary of what has happened in this game. Tony Banks left in the first half with under 2 minutes to go, knocked out with a concussion. Kent Graham has taken over. He's thrown 1 touchdown pass since taking over. Rod Smith, who's been bothered by a sore ankle, had his 9th touchdown catch of the season earlier in the game, but he has only 3 catches all day. The ankle is acting up on him in this one. We take a recap of the action. A muff punt, the fumble, recovered by the Denver Broncos, and that led to this 1-yard touchdown throw to Rod Smith. Key injury, Tony Banks. Here's the play on a hit by Leon Lett. Banks left with a concussion. Kent Graham took over, threw a 5-yard touchdown pass to Michael Westbrook, who's had a huge day. And we look at the offensive leaders while they help Matt Campbell get off the field. For the Redskins, Kent Graham has really been a plus at quarterback for Washington. Stephen Davis, 98 yards. He just lost 2 on the previous play. And Michael Westbrook, 9 catches for over 100 yards today and 1 touchdown.
Well, you see the 4.3 average by Davis. He's running the ball well. But the 2 guys that have stepped up today is Kent Graham and Michael Westbrook.
To see the end of that Chicago-Tampa Bay game, we'll go back to Los Angeles and check in again with James Brown.
So, Buck, Tampa Bay was looking to try to tie matters up against Chicago, and Martin Gramatica attempted this 48-yarder, hit the upright, so Chicago is now on top of the NFC Central. So he had a streak of 7 straight. Chicago on top in the Central by itself. Back to Joe and Brian.
No hopping around today for Martin Gramatica.
Nothing automatica about Gramatica today, but for the Bears, another cardiac victory. Had a chance even to beat Green Bay last week in Chicago in the last seconds.
Well, for Green Bay, they will be busy this Thursday. We ask you to start your Thanksgiving Day with an NFL tradition, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. As JB, Terry, Howie, and Chris get you ready for kickoff, then Brett Favre and the Packers try to catch up now to the Chicago Bears. They visit Detroit to take on the Lions. Coverage begins Thanksgiving Day, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, right here on Fox.
And I'm going to go from the kitchen table to the couch, kitchen table back to the couch, and then I'll probably end up on the couch with a good snooze.
Matt Campbell carted off the field. We'll give you a look at the injury.
Matt Campbell right here playing the tight end position. Gets that, oh, I'm not looking. Right knee just got rolled up. A lot of traffic there, everybody falling around the legs. And it just caved in on him.
He was the tackle eligible on that play.
And I promise we won't show it again. I can't look at that stuff.
Second down and goal for Washington, 10-10 game. Stephen Davis, nothing. Now Denver will spend that timeout.
Smart timeout by Shanahan. You know, they lost one because of a challenge that they lost. But he's trying to conserve as much time for when their offense gets the ball back.
Shanahan trying to call a timeout prior to the injury suffered by Matt Campbell, so he was able to save one there, and now the Broncos are left with one timeout. Well, here are the Redskins, who have only one rushing touchdown all season. You're faced with a 3rd and goal. Do you keep it on the ground?
If you keep it on the ground, you don't hit it in the middle. You take it to the outside, where Stephen Davis has a little bit of time to find the opening, to find the softness. The play they run best is just a toss. But I would, right here in this situation, I would go to a pass. You have the better opportunity. More weapons, more opportunity, more different people to get the ball to. See Brian Johnson coming in at fullback, who's a very good pass receiver for the Redskins. Number 47.
The ball is resting on the 3. And it's 3rd and goal.
Johnson in motion.
Play action. Back to the end zone. Touchdown, Flemister. Washington has taken the lead. Zeron Flemister picks right here, right now for his first touchdown of the season.
Perfect execution by Kent Graham on the play action fake, and then just dropping the ball over the linebacker, covering Flemister.
So the Redskins have scored 16 unanswered points. Conway to tack on the extra point. And it's 17-10 Washington. Zeron Flemister, a second-year player out of Iowa. His first career touchdown reception.
Playing the tight end position down here at the bottom. I mean, play action fake to Stephen Davis, who gets a block. Denver bit on it. Got the ball over the linebacker, Lee Woodall here. But confident, poised, perfect execution by Kent Graham, like he's been doing it all season long.
We talk about the key injury. We showed you that earlier when Tony Banks was hit and hit hard by Leon Lett, had to leave, suffered a concussion. The good news on him, it doesn't appear to be serious. He did undergo an MRI. However, the biggest change in this game took place when Kent Graham took over at quarterback.
No question about it. He came in and he had confidence and success in the passing game. Where Tony Banks struggled in the rain and hanging on to the football, Kent Graham has directed this offense beautifully. Nice blend of both the run and the pass to lead to 2 touchdown scores.
Each team calling this a must-win game coming in. The Redskins trying to win their first game on the road. If they today. They'll be 4-5, and they have a date at first place Philadelphia next week. Chris Cole from the 2. Broncos needing a big return, and Cole gets it to the 25, brought down by Eddie Mason. Tonight on, starting at 8 o'clock Eastern, The Simpsons, followed by Malcolm in the middle, and then The X-Files at 9 Eastern. That's tonight on Fox. Right now with Rod Smith back in the lineup for Denver. Only 3 catches on the day, 75 on the season. He lines up, split out to the left. Greasy as the Broncos start at their own 25. Incomplete. Shade with a coverage. The crowd wanting a flag, but none thrown.
Coverage has been outstanding for the Redskins today, and I've been watching games up here in Denver at Mile High and now this new place for years. And it always seemed like this was the time when a guy named Elway would take over.
Yeah.
You know, and I think people here in Denver are still waiting to see if Brian Greasy can take over a game the way Elway did for years.
And how many times has Marty Schottenheimer stood on that sideline
and been the losing end in both Cleveland and Kansas City.
Penalty flag on the play on 2nd and 10 as Greasy overthrows his tight end Desmond Clark. But there is a flag on the play. We mentioned that Marty Schottenheimer in his coaching career is 2-10 as a head coach here in Denver, bringing his teams here, whether it was Cleveland or Kansas City.
Mario declined that penalty. Just a motion.
Illegal shift by the offense. Number 80 and 88 moved at the same time without resetting. Penalty is declined. They're down.
So Denver left with only one timeout, facing a 17-10 deficit with 2:27 remaining, and it's 3rd and 10.
Bruce Smith, second in the NFL all-time in sacks, gets a wide stance. Coming after Greasy, he gets a good jump.
On 3rd down, Greasy steps up, throws, wide open. Chris Cole, what a time for his first catch. And a first down for Denver outside their own 45.
Well, today was going to see who was going to step up at that wide receiver position to help out Rod Smith. Chris Cole, the biggest catch, the only catch of his career to keep this drive alive.
Just prior to the 2-minute warning, Greasy airs it out. Great coverage by Champ Bailey. And it's Bailey who's looking for the flag. He's not going to get it, covering Keith Poole.
Bailey off of Rod Smith that time. They gave him to Fred Smoot.
2-minute warning. 1 minute, 55 seconds remaining. Denver trying to put a drive together, down by 7. NFL's top receiver, Rod Smith, standing on the sideline. He will watch on 2nd down and 10. 3 catches on the day. They put a second back on the clock, 1 minute 56 remaining. Denver down by 7. Greasy throws, and there's no one there.
Boy, you know, this is where the Broncos miss those experienced, big physical receivers like Rod Smith and McCaffrey, because Greasy is going to Chris Cole at the bottom, and watch what Fred Smoot does to him. He runs him right to the sidelines. Never involved in the play, took him out of the play from the start. You know, and this is where the Broncos for years had 3 or 4 wide receivers they put in here. Right now they're out there with 2 tight ends on the field. They can't put the same aggressive packages on the field and give as many targets for Greasy to go to.
Only a 98-yard day for Brian Greasy. Now there is a delay on the field as the referee, Mike Carey, is going to go over to the sideline and check with the replay officials.
Looked like Fred Smoot Chris Cole to the sidelines, but okay.
Evidently, what we understand, the pager to the replay booth is not working, and now that we're inside 2 minutes, it is vital that that pager system work from the replay booth, as that's where the calls are made as to whether to review a play or not. So that was the delay, and Mike Carey gets a new pager.
There will be no review on the play. Fair down.
See, if you're the referee, Joe, you got all kinds of things dangling. When the weather's cold, you got the muffle, you know, the muffin there for your hands. Then you got the flag, and you got the pager, you got the whistle. I mean, that belt's got a lot of things hanging off.
3rd down and 10. Greasy has time. The ball was hit, and it falls incomplete. A tip pass. Cole, the intended receiver, and it's 4th and 10.
And I'm looking down at the sidelines. Rod Smith wants to go in this game, and they're not going to put him in. That right ankle has just hobbled him too much. This is when you kind of lead on the league's best receiver.
So no McCaffrey after week 1. Now no Rod Smith on a 4th and 10 from their own 46. Denver trying to keep hope alive. Greasy hit as he throws, incomplete, and the Redskins will take over on downs. Marco Coleman with pressure for Washington.
And the roll continues for the Redskins. 4 games in a row and right back in the NFC East race. And give credit to this defense all game long. Greasy trying to wait for somebody to come open. And Marco Coleman gets the hit.
Marty Schottenheimer, 2-10 in his career as a visiting head coach here in Denver. New stadium and better luck.
And he was ridiculed and ripped by his own players early this season, saying that he was inflexible, he wasn't going to change his ways, and you know what? He never did. The players changed to him, and it's paying off right now.
Kneel down time for Kent Graham and the Washington offense. The defense for the Redskins. They have allowed a total of 170 yards on the day, coming in ranked 28th in the National Football League.
They've got a lot of seasoned veterans over there. Taking a look at Bruce Smith, Marco Coleman, who just made the last play, and Darrell Green. These guys have come together and taken charge.
Graham will take a knee again. And under a minute to go. Redskins on their way to their first road victory of this season. A record of 4-5, and again, a date with first place Philadelphia next week.
And I talked to Darrell Green on the field before the game, and he said that we believe in ourselves. We want to see if we can go on the road and knock off a good team and earn a victory so that we can come and play Philadelphia up the turnpike next week and play for continued standings in the NFC East.
The kneel down, and the Broncos will spend their final timeout. The AFC West, Oakland, they won today. They're 7-2. Meanwhile, Denver, if they lose here today, will be 5-5. But with 14 seconds remaining.
Because the quarterback took a delayed knee, which results in Denver calls their 3rd and final timeout.
After the timeout by Denver, Washington will be forced here on 4th down to get rid of the football.
Well, we saw earlier in the game some problems in special teams. Drops by Eric Metcalf, drops by Tom Ruin. Marty right there in that huddle, special teams huddle. Really, I think you'd be better off. Well, you got to punt this football. Just get the ball off. Brian Barker, the punter, been with Marty Schottenheimer for years, was with them in Kansas City. Protection first is what he's saying to him.
So it'll take a good snap.
And you don't punt to Deltha O'Neal. Put this ball over to one of the sides, not let him get his hands on it.
Barker will probably take only one step just to get rid of it. Good snap, one step in the punt. And O'Neal will muff it. Isn't it fitting? Isn't it fitting that Deltha O'Neal, with his last opportunity of the day, and now 5 seconds remain, would muff the punt and knock it out of bounds. We have seen that. I know we've had a lot of new viewers join us. We have seen that since the beginning of this game, all game long.
From the very start, neither team able to get a handle on the football. It's been loose most of the afternoon.
They've called a penalty.
Had 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. It remains 4th down.
So it's time for the Redskins to prove that they can do it again.
Well, right now, what you do if you're Brian Barker is take this ball and run it backwards and then take a knee, run out the clock.
So the Redskins will have to long snap the ball again, and now it's time for a veteran coach, Marty Schottenheimer, to confer with his veteran punter about what to do in this situation. Remember, Denver not have any timeouts remaining.
Well, the irony about Marty Schottenheimer here in Denver is he's had very little success.
Correction, there was no foul on the play. There were 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Denver's ball at the out-of-bounds spot. 1st down.
So forget all that. Now they've picked up the flag. And they're going to give Denver the ball back at their own 23-yard line. And Marty Schottenheimer is wondering, I'm sure with the rest of the country, what the heck just happened.
I think he wants to just get this thing over with. Enjoy a trip to Denver, where he said he used to have a good time in the Rocky Mountains. A little horseback riding in the summer, and coached up here. His son, who's the quarterback coach, Brian Schottenheimer, was born here.
Well, neither sideline knows who to send out on the field right now.
Yeah, punt return, defense, offense.
It's going to be the offense for Denver, the defense for Washington. And with 5 seconds remaining, we are looking at our final snap of the day. Here's what we mean by fitting with the muffed punt by Deltha O'Neal. 13 dropped passes, 3 muffed punts, 7 fumbles.
And it seems like it's even more than that. I mean, that's a full graphic there.
So a 17-10 Washington lead, 5 seconds remaining. And now time is called by the Redskins. So Washington will spend their second timeout of this second half. And Marty Schottenheimer will talk to his younger brother, Kurt Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator.
Now, most people are saying it's 5 seconds. Just put a team out there. But Marty has seen too many crazy, weird, wild things happen up here with his teams from Cleveland, with the great comebacks of Elway, and then when he was in Kansas City coming up here every year.
Probably looking up in the seats to make sure Elway is somewhere around.
Where's the ghost? He's here, isn't he?
The remaining games for Washington: at Philadelphia next week, and at home against Dallas, at Arizona, at home against Philadelphia, at home against Chicago, at New Orleans, and at home against Arizona. Rather favorable schedule for the Washington Redskins down the stretch.
Well, 2 games against the first-place Eagles in the next month. And that's really going to decide the NFC's fate, I believe, at this point.
In the Eastern Division, where the Philadelphia Eagles, who won today, have a record of 6-3. Final snap of this game, barring a defensive penalty. And over the middle of the field, can anyone make the tackle? Again, Cole drops the football, again fitting, and that's the way this game will end. A rather lackluster day for the Denver Broncos and a huge day for the Washington Redskins. They have now won 4 straight. They're 4-5. They get their first road win of the season. They look forward to a date in Philadelphia next week. Back to wrap it up after this.
been one of the strangest